8-game road trip begins with the first of 4 in beautiful Denver, Colorado, as the Cardinals will take on the defending National League champions, the Colorado Rockies. A surprise this season, you bet. The Cardinals at 20 wins, and here are the 4 20-win teams right now in the major leagues. Arizona, great start in the National League. A lot of people predicted them to win the West. Then you have Boston at 20-13, the Angels 20-13. The Cardinals, though, the best in the Central so far at 20-12. Welcome to the broadcast booth. That's Al. I'm Dan. Great to have you with us as we get you set for baseball tonight. Joel Pinheiro will get the start for the Cardinals, and last 2 starts so far so good for him.
Been outstanding his last 2 starts, winning both those starts, and just think about what he's done in his last start. Only 1 hit, the leadoff man, and that was all that Cincinnati got against him. He's been pitching very well, and we hope that trend continues against the Rockies.
A problem for the Rockies this season, a lot of walks, and that means tonight's starter is in that category as well. Ubaldo Jimenez, he'll get the start, a hard-throwing right-hander for the Rockies against Joel Pinheiro. 2 of the game's best sluggers in the lineup tonight. Albert Pujols for the Cardinals, Matt Holliday for Colorado. First pitch, and our lineups coming up next. Well, how about the Cardinals? One of the biggest surprises right now in baseball, a record of 20-12. There's a look at Tony La Russa. And maybe he is the only one that felt that the Cardinals could do what they're doing so far this season. He, along with his club, and there is Clint Hurdle. Disappointing start, obviously, Al, for the Rockies. They're 12-19.
Yeah, Clint's trying to figure things out, and it really starts in the first inning because they've played 31 games. They've allowed 31 first-inning runs. So they're battling from behind, and base on balls are a big factor.
High elevation, the dry air of Denver, Colorado. The ball used to just fly out of this ballpark, and the crowds are starting to come back. Remember, at one point, they drew over 4 million fans, one of their first seasons inside this ballpark. There's a look at the umpires for tonight. Bob Davidson is behind home plate. Alfonso Marquez at first, Andy Fletcher at second, and the crew chief for this series is Mike Riley and their crew. But times have changed. It's now become a ballpark that obviously is very, very big. I mean, it's 415 to center field, but the ball, for the most part, stays inside the park.
I used to, before they started using a humidifier to place the balls in there and bring it back to basically sea level, it used to travel about 9% further. It may not sound like much, but you know, you talk about 300 feet, you know, that's adding 30 feet to it, the distance. So a lot of fly balls that would be in front of the warning track were going over the fence.
Cardinals baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light Lime, the superior drinkability of Bud Light with a splash of 100% natural lime flavor. By Auto Tire, for the lowest prices in town, 26 locations to serve you. You ought to go to Auto Tire, the Tire Pros. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. By Geico Direct, a 15-minute phone call could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines, you're now free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today. Gorgeous night here in Denver, Colorado, but split second, that can change. Near the Rockies. This is God's country up here, though. Beautiful.
Oh, it is beautiful, especially if you ever have the time to drive up to Vail and see the mountains, see how spectacular it is in the summertime as well as in the winter. Distinct differences, though.
The Cardinals overall hitting .277 as a team. 25 games at this ballpark for Albert. 9 homers and a .318 average. Schumacher, Kennedy, and Pujols here in the first. Then Ankiel, Gloss, Duncan, Molina, Pinheiro, and Miles gets the start at short. That's a look at our Southwest Airlines starting lineup and our Rico starter. If this guy is on, Al, he is as tough as anybody, but it's a matter of him throwing strikes, which he has not been able to do.
Well, he has electrifying stuff, and you're right. He has just a great arm, but he doesn't throw enough strikes. He's walked 22 guys and you know, 23 strikeouts. Ball really moves.
Holliday, Posednik, and Hop in the outfield. The Auto Tire defense for Colorado. Atkins, Quintanilla is the shortstop. Herrera over at second base. Helton, the Gold Glover at first, and Chris Iannetta is behind the plate. The big injury right now for the Rockies, Troy Tulowitzki. And he is going to be out at least, we hear, until the All-Star break, if not more, with a tear in his quad. That's a huge loss for them.
Big loss, and he was really struggling. Adding a $150, but he was A guy that really in many ways personified this team a year ago as in his rookie season.
See that 0 for 11 for Skip Schumacher, but that was the first week of the regular season. Started out 0 for 16, but after that he has been on a tear, and not many people talking about the leadoff spot with David Eckstein. People are very pleased with Skip Schumacher.
And rightfully so.
The 1-2 pitch fought off on a hop to short. Quintanilla diving at first, and out is Schumacher. Almost beat it. That drives you crazy, doesn't it?
What, diving head first?
Yeah, you don't like that.
mean, it doesn't really bother me, but many people say you slow down by doing it. You know, you don't see track stars dive for the tape. They run through it. But it is kind of an optical illusion. Many times the umpire will think that you get there a little quicker. So I don't mind it. Just don't get stepped on.
Here's Kennedy in the air to right, and that gets by Hop. Near the track, it'll stop, and Kennedy won't stop until he winds up at third base. It's a triple for the Cardinals second baseman, Adam Kennedy. Do or die play, and he did not come up with it.
Well, Hop plays deep, and he really did not get a good read on the ball coming off the bat. And then he tries to dive for it, and just underneath his glove. And when you miss, then it's instead of that single, it becomes the triple, or at least Kennedy will end up a third. He thinks he commits an out, and now he sees the ball gets down, and he goes all the way over to third base.
Sounded like a broken bat, too.
Yeah.
And watching the first replay, it looked like Hop was there, but almost misjudged it enough to where it slid under his glove. Sacrifice situation now for Albert Pujols. And let's take a look at our Ford Keys, and this is the scout report from Jose Oquendo.
I see Hop, we just said, plays very deep, so he's normal depth. He makes that play easily. And, you know, Holiday has the great arm out in left field. Below average arm for Podsednik. And how about the grass here?
Hey, you take into account
you're really
everything.
getting down to it. But it's actually, you know, the players are starting to like this playing surface a lot more. It used to be very hard and fast. They've softened it up a bit.
Pujols pops it up, foul territory, Helton over, and the Cardinals and Albert catch a break. Ooh, is that big right there? We want to thank Jose Oquendo for his scout report, but Helton and Iannetta just about a step short to get that pop-up.
Coming over here, and you worry about running into each other as Helton came up a little bit short, so didn't have a collision between his catcher.
The foul territory is actually pretty big.
Yes.
At this ballpark, which you just don't see anymore. A count of 1-2. Kennedy, the runner at third base, and he has been on fire as of late. The 1-2 pitch, and a swing and a miss, and Pujols strikes out. First strikeout for Jimenez, and that's a big one early on in this game, and it brings in Rick Ankiel. The Cardinals as a team, and one of the reasons that they have been winning a lot of games, they jump out in front in the first inning.
Yeah, and that's been a great story. And not only are they scoring early, but the Cardinal pitchers, the starting staff, has been incredible, only allowing 2 first-inning runs this season.
That is amazing. 2, that's it. Ankiel, an odd swing for strike 1 in the foul tip.
And to give you a little idea, you know, the contrast between the Rockies and the Cardinals, they both have scored the same amount of runs in the first inning, but the Cardinals have allowed 2, the Rockies have allowed 31.
Always playing catch-up, just like the Cardinals were a year ago.
And one of the things they say about the Rockies pitching staff, a lot of times they get 2 outs, and they can't get the third without runs being scored. Foul ball.
And a broken bat as well. Ankiel will go grab a new piece of lumber, and he's in the hole, 0-2. Jimenez, if he can get 2 strikes on you, more times than not, he's going to put you away. It's one of those stats that you look at and it definitely sticks out a little bit, as opponents, when he gets you on 2 strikes, are only 4 for 48. That's an 0.83 average. Here's what we're talking about: 23 strikeouts, no home runs, and an 0.83 average. 2 strikes here on Rick Ankiel. The next to him on the inside corner, and a strikeout. Picks up 2 in the inning. Ankiel could pull the trigger, and the Cardinals waste an early opportunity. Cardinal fans filing in to Coors Field here in Denver. Many thanks for joining us in our Colorado Rockies batting order, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. 12th season for Todd Helton. He has averaged .330 those 12 years and over 300 home runs. Here's Scott Pasednik, part of the World Series team for the White Sox a few seasons ago. And Joel Pinheiro is our Rico starter for the Cardinals.
Pinheiro won his last couple ball games, getting better and better. He missed the opening series when he was on the disabled list and did not start against these Rockies.
The Rockies as a team only hitting .249. They steal an awful lot. They've got 28 steals. So our Rico starter, Joel Pinheiro, 4 starts, and he started out 0-2, but has won the last 2. In the air to center. And Keel is there for the first out. I talked to Pinheiro at the hotel today, and a lot of question marks as to whether or not he would make the start. He said his back feels fine. Duncan and Keel, Schumacher in the outfield. Around the Horn is brought to you by Auto Tire. Gloss, Miles, Kennedy, and Pujols on the infield. And Molina behind the plate. Joel is not allowed a run in the first inning this season. Hard hit ball by Pasednik, but right at Ricky and Keel.
Well, that last outing, he had a lot of hard hit balls, but they're right at fielders. And you know what? They count. They count as outs.
They're outs. Remember the first inning, too? He ran into trouble, got out of that, then really settled in against Cincinnati. Troy Gloss playing in. There's another hard hit ball, but this should be out number 2, and it is.
You do that all night, right?
Remember Dusty Baker after the game, the manager of the Reds said, you know, he was okay against us, but you know, we just didn't catch any breaks. We were hitting line drive after line drive, but as you mentioned, Al, they're outs.
They're outs, and I mean, you've got the defensive charge. Those people are there for a reason. So, you know, let them hit the ball hard. It just goes right to them that much easier and quicker.
Here is Matt Holliday.
It's all about getting this, you know, pitching to contact.
Really hard contact at times.
Hey, we've seen little dribblers that go for base hits. So
and that's baseball.
So right, hey.
Another hard hit ball, and that's fair. Just inside the third baseline, off the sidewall it goes. Over to get it, the birthday boy, Chris Duncan. And it's a 2-out double for Matt Holliday.
Now, when hard hit balls are hit, and you see Troy Gloss really has no time to react as the ball just inside the foul line. So Holliday, who always hits well against the Cardinals, finds himself in scoring position for another exceptional hitter.
Might be a little surprised. Last 2 years, Todd Helton has hit just above 200 against the Cardinals. So 2 outs and a runner at second. And the first pitch is taken for a strike. Cardinals had a great opportunity with Albert Pujols up and a runner at third, and just 1 out, couldn't score. Let's see what Todd Helton and the Rockies can do with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs. Rockies won yesterday, but since April 20th, this team is 3-11, and they cannot fall any further behind in the National League West because Arizona is running away with this division. They're going to win it, you would think, and then the Dodgers are starting to get hot too.
Rockies helped them get started on that 8-game winning streak.
The 1-1 pitch is a base hit out to left. Todd Helton picks up the RBI, his 11th. He's on his way to second. Throw in by Duncan is in time and out. But a single and an RBI for Todd Helton drives in Holliday to make it 1-0 after 1. The 2 line drive outs, and then the double by Holliday and the single as Helton tried to stretch it into 2. 1-0 Colorado after 1. Final score coming up later tonight. The only national show that gives you nothing but wall-to-wall highlights. The FSN final score this evening at midnight here on FSN Midwest. Rockies jump out to a 1-0 lead. Only the 3rd first inning run allowed by the Cardinals this season. This Troy Gloss in a pitch that's way inside. 95 miles an hour. And if you remember the postseason or even that stretch run, that final month or so for Colorado, this guy was unhittable. Ubaldo Jimenez. And you see the numbers for Troy Gloss, 31 games this year.
Now, if you could always have Troy hit on the road and Ankiel always hit at home, you really have something.
You're right.
But if you took Troy's home numbers and Ankiel's road numbers, we wouldn't like that at all.
You know, I guess with Ankiel, it's a feeling of comfort at Busch Stadium, the surroundings, the fans. And with Troy Gloss, maybe the opposite. The fact that he has struggled a little bit at home, puts more pressure on himself in front of the home fans, and relaxes on the road.
Right, he has 21 RBIs amongst the league leaders and doubles.
Didn't like that call. And it's 3 balls and 1 strike. You see home games 186, but on the road 310 average and 10 RBIs.
And Ankiel is much the same way, just different. You know, there's our walks again.
Jimenez averaging per 9 innings close to 7 walks. And you're not going to stick around deep into games if you do that.
No. And, you know, you're always flirting with that pitch count. It's a big, strong guy. And here's the birthday boy. Happy 27th, right?
That's right. Here is Duncan. And a pitch on the outside corner. This date in baseball history brought to you by Schnucks. May 5th, 1981, Chris Duncan was born. So you got Shelley Duncan with the Yankees, Chris with St. Louis, Dave with St. Louis. Hard hit ball, but right to second. 4, 6, 3, double play. Leadoff walk is erased, and it brings in Yadier Molina with 2 outs. Well, this guy doesn't strike out very often, and neither does his brother, Benji Molina of San Francisco. How about Yadier, though? Takes nearly 30 ABs before he strikes out. And we've talked about this, Al, but it was the case a couple of years ago, and his average was just above 200. At the start of play tonight, he's at 277. And sometimes he would sacrifice that strikeout and basically, you know, not take a real aggressive swing because he would just put the ball in play, just guide the bat. And he's gone away from that. You've seen him taking a lot better swings the last year and a half or so. That last pitch at 97 miles an hour.
And what you're talking about, you know, with 2 strikes, you know, just trying to punch the ball.
And little bloop on an 0-2 pitch and a base hit. That's the 5th base hit allowed by Jimenez when he gets 2 strikes on a hitter. And again, an 0-2 pitch. He's in the hole and does not strike out and goes down to get this
pitch.
Watch
this ball. Looked like it was down and in, and look at him go down. But there's trying to make contact, and you described that as a bloop, right?
Yep.
A bloop. One hard hit. If it was harder hit, it would have carried to the outfield. Our theme of it's okay to let them hit the ball hard.
Look at him. What? Here's Pinheiro and a swing and a miss.
Todd Helton's ball was the weakest of the of any of the outs that Pinheiro allowed.
0-2 now on Pinheiro. Jimenez has struck out 2. Struck out Pujols with a runner at 3rd and only 1 out. That was a big strikeout. Then he got Ankiel looking to end the top half of the 1st.
Rocking Bob Davidson back behind the plate. Calling timeout. You think it's going to call a balk. He is from Colorado, so he's at home.
Two pitch. Runner at first is Yadier Molina. The 8th place hitter Joel Pinheiro. The 1-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. Strikes him out. 3 strikeouts in 2 innings for Jimenez. It's the Rockies and Cardinals, game 1 of a 4-game series here at Coors Field in Denver. Well, Friday night, get a look around the major leagues. The Baseball Report, highlights, interviews, analysis you won't get anywhere else. It's the Baseball Report, Friday at 5:30 right here on FSN Midwest. We will be in Milwaukee for the first of 4. There's a look at the birthday boy, Chris Duncan. And Dave Duncan, unfortunately, was not able to see the birth of Chris Duncan. It was back in 1981. And Al, as you well know, back then, players and coaches didn't leave a team to go see your child be born. And he actually did not even see him until 6 weeks after the birth. And I've talked to Dave's wife about it, and they were greeted at the airport by Dave, and he says one of the only times I've ever seen him cry. He actually got a little, emotional about it, obviously.
Just didn't think about asking to go, and I think that's why today's managers, were played in that era, and so a lot of them are more sympathetic and realize that special occasions like that, it hurt that they were not present for the birth of their children, so they allow the players today to be present.
Making up for maybe some lost time on the road in the summer months. But I've talked to Chris about it. He said, really, when you think about it, myself and Shelley, and people always talk about our dad being on the road, but the bottom line was we grew up in the Coliseum. We were always with the A's. We were with our dad. That's popped up into right center, and Keel has it for the first out. The Chevy Cardinals Crew Kids Club. It features Adam Wainwright. Tickets, gear, autograph party on Saturday, September 27th, and much more. 345-9600, or log on to stocardinals.com. There's Adam Wainwright. He'll get a start in this series. And last night, Todd Wellemeyer picked up the win for the Cardinals. Turned it over to the bullpen, and the bullpen did not disappoint. In the air, deep right center field. At the track, it's at the wall, and it's over the wall. Brad Hoff with his 3rd home run. 2-0 Colorado.
Good home run that Pinheiro is allowed also. All got up in the zone, right over the middle of the plate.
Here's Chris Iannetta, the catcher for the Rockies.
So 330 in the last 16 ball games, and you see just far enough. Get over there.
Slowly hit and rolling. And that is foul. Depending on what ballpark you are at, sometimes you see that ball roll, it'll roll towards the infield, and depends on the kind of team you have, but that grounds crew can help you get it the way you want it to go.
Most of the time, and really the old ballparks, because they didn't have the drainage systems that they do today, but they almost crowned the fields. So anytime a ball rolled like that, it would almost automatically go foul. But you're right, sometimes. And that's why it's important to kind of come out and kind of roll the ball down the line there and see if it does roll foul or stay fair.
The 0-2 pitch to Iannetta. I bet Tony was there. I can't see, but I bet he flipped off his hat trying to field that grounder in the dugout. He loves doing that. That's how he stays active, Al, down there in the dugout.
He was used to being in the dugout during his playing days.
In the air center. And Keel looks up, and it's off the top of the wall. There's some hard hit balls from Colorado tonight.
I was just remarking or thinking, I want to see this throw from Rick Ankiel. Look at the ball. Molina set up away. Watch this. Comes up and just fires it back in. This is a cutoff man. But Albert, who's trailing the runner, was very alert. But he just wound up, fired a strike, and Albert right there.
Well, I've talked to some of the minor leaguers on the caravan that played with Ricky and Keel, and they'll tell you still the best pitcher inside the Cardinals organization is Ricky and Keel. They would play catch with him on the side, and all of a sudden he'd show you the motion, and I'm going to throw you a curveball. They could hear the seams in the air. You know, they could hear that when he twisted off, and so it was unbelievable just playing catch with him and the heavy ball that he would throw.
It's not fun to play catch with a guy that has a heavy ball.
No, because it hurts.
It does hurt. It's like you're playing catch with a shot put.
Here's John Herrera, the second baseman and a switch hitter.
They really love these two little middle infielders. Great defensively.
And one of the guys that they expected to get some playing time with the injury to their shortstop Tulowitzki is Barmas from the Missouri Valley Conference in Indiana State. Grew up watching the Cardinals.
He's getting a lot of playing time. You know, just he's really more the utility man now.
Struggled at the plate though. Last 13 games he's only hit 178. There's a ground ball to the right side, handled by Kennedy. A wide throw, but Pujols alertly stays on the bag. One thing we've noticed now with the Pinheiro, a lot of pitches over the middle of the plate and not pitching inside.
He's missing location. You know, balls that are designed to be on the either inside or outside are catching a lot of the plate and elevated. And he'll figure it out. Just don't give him any more runs.
Here is Jimenez on the outside corner, and a swing and a miss. Jimenez is 0 for 12 so far this season. So two pitchers that aren't great hitters in this ball game tonight.
I think Joel's a little better than Jimenez watching these first two swings. So make sure you strand that runner at third base.
No balls, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. He strikes out. And the first strikeout of the night for Pinheiro. Brad Hopp. This was in the first, and a misplay. Wound up being a triple. He atones for that. He picks up the home run. His third of the season. 2-0 after 2. Colorado. Cardinal fans, Saturday, May 17th is Kids Plate Day at Busch Stadium. All fans ages 15 and under receive a customized dinner plate, and it features slugger Albert Pujols. The plate is compliments of Powerade and Walgreens, and only available on May 17th against Tampa Bay. Interleague play 345-9000, or head to stlcardinals.com to find out more.
You've seen that plate.
Looks outstanding, and there is Larry Walker, who still has a home here in the Denver area, but his permanent residence is down in Florida. But he has a standing open invitation at any point in time to join the Cardinals, home, road, whatever the case may be, work with the players. Boy, he put together some unbelievable seasons here in Colorado.
Yeah, and I think he was kind of waiting to get a call during the World Series. They really never called here Galarraga, Bichette, Castillo.
Vinny Castilla is in that dugout for Colorado.
I saw Vinny before the game.
Miles into right with a base hit, and a misplay again by Hopp. Miles on his way to second, and they're safe. Leadoff double for Miles, and let's check in with Jim Hayes. Jim.
You know, Dan, Larry Walker played here in Colorado for 10 seasons, but he had trouble getting to the ballpark today. He's here to help the Cardinals out a little bit. And even though he played here for 10 seasons, he met Tony La Russa at the hotel. They walked over. Walker said he got lost 9 blocks out of his way. When they finally got to the ballpark, La Russa had a map drawn up for how to get from the hotel to the ballpark for Larry Walker.
You can see the ballpark from the hotel.
Al, I have an admission.
You did too?
Jim. I was with Jim when we walked over here. We just passed it by a block, though, not 9.
Mr. Bubbles.
I mean, It happens. You know, we're in a new hotel. I got in late last night. I didn't realize.
We got in late this morning, or early this morning.
New hotel. That's my excuse.
You know that you have windows in your hotel room, so you kind of open your curtains and you look out and kind of find out, like, hey, this isn't the old hotel. This is a new hotel. And you look out. Oh, that's the ballpark right over there. And I have to go out the entrance, turn left, walk down 2 blocks. And how do you get several blocks away?
Well, Al, again, I was just a block away, but Larry Walker apparently 9 blocks away. This is a guy that you want up in this spot with runners in scoring position. Schumacher has been terrific this year.
Still trying to figure out how you guys got lost.
You know what? Then go with us tomorrow, all right?
How about 350?
You come with us.
No.
You come with us tomorrow.
No.
We want you. We invite you.
350 average with runners in scoring position.
Does the job by pulling the baseball and advancing on the play. Over to third is Miles. From the Mile High City, Denver, Colorado. Beautiful high definition on FSN Midwest. I guess it must be a little odd for the Rockies and some of their personnel and even their fans to see Larry Walker wearing that Cardinal uniform. He was Mr. Rocky. But yet he said, and he was quoted numerous times, having said, if I could have played or would have known what it was like to play in St. Louis, I'd have gone there in the first place. He signed as a free agent. And back in 1997 with the Rockies, he was the MVP, the first Canadian-born player to win the MVP. And his numbers were unbelievable. 409 total bases that season. 409. Kennedy, and he'll pick up the RBI. Hilton thought about coming home, and Adam Kennedy picks up the RBI, his 12th, and the Cardinals are on the board.
Boy, he's been a productive hitter, hasn't he?
He sure has. He just looks like a different player, and the way he carries himself when you talk to him just seems relaxed again. Confident.
Hit this ball hard, and a nice pick by the former Gold Glover. Helton thought about going home, but decided to get the sure out, and the Cardinals get on the scoreboard.
Here's Pujols. He struck out swinging.
Don't forget about Schumacher's advancement.
That's right.
Miles from second to third.
First pitch to Albert. On the inside corner, misses. At 92 miles an hour. Pujols, a 447 road average coming into play tonight. He has reached base in 32 straight to start this season. On our gun, that one at 98. 1 ball, 1 strike. Count even on Albert Pujols. Rick Ankiel on deck, and Pujols can extend the inning. Those two, Pujols and Ankiel, struck out back-to-back in the first. The 1-1. We talked about Pujols and what he's been able to do on the road, and what the Cardinals have done on the road. And how about the Florida Marlins, one of the biggest surprises of this young season so far.
Yeah, they're a team that people thought that they would really struggle.
Slowly hit towards short. Quintanilla gets Pujols by a step. Albert is 0 for 2. RBI for Adam Kennedy. Cuts the lead to 2-1. This portion of Cardinal Baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by your St. Louis area Kia retailers. Kia, the power to surprise. And by Aflac. Aflac, ask about it at work. Top of the lineup for Colorado, and this is Scott Pasednik, lined out to center. State Capitol, beautiful sight. A gorgeous night for baseball. Clears up. Afternoon baseball. You can see the mountains.
Yeah, high 70s today in Denver.
2 balls, 1 strike. RBI for Todd Helton. Also the solo home run for Brad Hopp, and a 2-1 lead for the Rockies. Unavailable probably tonight for Tony La Russa would be Cal McClellan. They'd like to avoid using him, but boy, was he good again last night. Now, he did give up a run. But bases loaded, Derek Lee, and he shows you a lot of guts as Pujols charges on the play. It's that short hop, and that's the first out. But you had Derek Lee, and then you got the pop-up, and then Flores came in, and then Franklin, and the bullpen really did the job. And the biggest night for anybody on the mound had to be Jason Isringhausen after what took place on Friday night.
I liked what Izzy did is he threw a lot of fastballs.
Yes,
he
he
was
did.
93, 94 miles an hour. Sometimes he doesn't give that fastball credit.
It was his 10th save of the season, and now at 291 in his career. Here's Omar Quintanilla, the shortstop. But we saw the fastball from Jason Isringhausen, and he absolutely just pounded the strike zone with that fastball. And the Cubs went down in order, and it only took 12 pitches. So you would presume Izzy is fine to come back tonight. Now, the Cardinals, if they could avoid using him in back-to-back games, they would prefer to do that. But, you know, Isringhausen is certainly available this evening. And the Cardinals also, and there's McClellan on the left, Jeff Murphy, the bullpen catcher, and tucked behind him, the Cardinals have also called up Mike Parisi. That is over the shortstop, Miles, and into left center field. You think about the closers in the Central. Kerry Wood, a little bit shaky early on. Isringhausen has had his moments, but still 10 saves. And for Milwaukee, Eric Gagne gave up another one yesterday.
Yeah. Struggled in the 9th inning, and then that game went 12 innings. Another blown save.
There's Parisi. He is 6'3", a 215-pounder, 25 years of age, and he was recalled yesterday. And when he does make his major league debut, he'll be the first from the 2004 class to do that for the Cardinals, that draft class. And a swing and a miss that time by Matt Holliday. And also for Parisi, in his professional career, he has never worked in relief. It's always been as a starter. So the Cardinals needed some relief help, possibly for this series, especially long relief. They sent down Anthony Reyes, so Mike Parisi is available and ready to go tonight.
Anthony went 2 innings on Saturday, so probably wasn't going to be available. And they always protect these guys today. Used to be, you know, you're a relief pitcher, you're supposed to be ready every day.
Reyes just kind of getting used to that role and had really been ineffective in his last 4 times out, Al. That you know, he gave up 12 hits and just didn't look like the same guy.
Well, I think part of it too is, you know, sporadically pitching. That, you know, he used to being a starter and pitching every 5 days, and so I think they're getting back to a regular routine.
Parisi is from Lake Grove, New York, drafted out of Manhattan College. 2 balls and a strike on Holiday. Matt Holiday nearly won the MVP a year ago. Drives it into left, and Duncan makes the catch on the track and quickly gets it back in.
Good thing he had that height.
Oh, man. Holiday can't believe it. This ball was scorched.
Line drive, and you see him kind of trying to figure it out and then reaching up, hauling it in. As that ball hit so hard right at you, you're trying to get a little bit to the side so you can tell how high it's going to be. Whether you need to go back or stay stationary or come in.
2 outs. Here's Helton. Throw to first. And safe is Quintanilla. I asked Tony La Russa today about a couple of things concerning Yadier Molina. Number one, that play right there. I said, is that ever called from the bench with Molina and Pujols? He said, not really. He said, sometimes we'll make mention of it. We'll yell to him, hey, keep him close. He said, but that is a completely a feel thing between Pujols and Molina. He said those two are just on the same page when it comes to runners at first.
Yeah, and they have to be. A lot of times that ball's going to go down in the right field corner. So it's when Albert has a sense that Yadier is going to throw it there. And he can kind of tell when that guy starts straying off or get a little slow getting back to the bag. You know, knows to be ready to break, and Molina's paying attention on top of it.
And the other thing I asked Tony about was the play that Molina made on the Ryan Theriot stolen base attempt last night, and he said afterwards it will go down as one of the greatest plays in 100+ years of Cardinal baseball from the catcher.
I read that.
It was truly an amazing play from Molina. I said, did it remind you of Tony Pena? He said, no. He said a little bit because he was on the ground. He said, but it also reminded me a lot of Benito Santiago.
And I remember talking with Mike Rourke, who was one of Whitey Herzog's pitching coaches, and because of Santiago would throw frequently from his knees and throw out base runners. And Mike Rourke, a former catcher, would say that if you have a strong, accurate throwing arm, you actually are quicker throwing from your knees.
I went back and looked at the play, and for Molina, he caught it on his throwing side, and it was all just like one motion. If that pitch was on his glove side, his left side, I don't think he makes that play.
No, but it's just like you said. But how he just received the ball, and all in one complete motion did he throw the guy out, and really had to use his upper body strength to, because he didn't have his legs, so he had to use his upper body strength and throwing from his knees, and the follow through where you end up, face forward. But he's got that strong and accurate throwing arm, so he can do it like Santiago.
Now with a diving catch, maybe a play over the wall, you save a home run. A home run, you get the standing ovation for Molina. The great fans in St. Louis gave him the standing O as he left the playing field. It was neat to see. Just a terrific play from Yadier Molina.
And he's only thrown out 25% of runners this year, but that's a misleading statistic because he's throwing just as effectively. It's just so many of the pitchers have not allowed him a chance to throw out a run.
There goes the runner, and Helton hits it high in the air. Right center. And Keel backing up with room and makes the catch on the track. The Rockies have stranded two. They lead it 2-1. And Keel leads it off when we come back. Top of the fourth rolls in here at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Ubaldo Jimenez to Rick Ankiel. Ankiel has been busy tonight. The outfield, the infield, everybody a little busy tonight as Pinheiro has been hit hard, but only a 2-1 lead for Colorado. Ankiel struck out his first time up. In many ways, Albert Pujols has been getting the Barry Bonds treatment. A lot of walks. And Ankiel tonight is the protection behind Albert. The 2-0. Ripped up the middle on a base hit. Let's check in with Jim Hayes. Jim.
Dan, don't forget, coming up after the game on the post-game edition of U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live, I'll have post-game reaction from Tony La Russa. I'll go inside the Cardinals clubhouse to get the player reaction. Plus, Pat Paris and company will have all the post-game analysis that's coming up after the game. For now, we send it back to Dan and Al.
All right, Jim, thanks. Here's Troy Gloss. He walked his first time up. I asked Tony La Russa if the Cardinals heard from Juan Gonzalez. And he said it's been a while. And Gloss drills it into left, but right at Holiday. And he said Gonzalez still trying to come back from that injury, but with the way the outfielders have played, it's kind of a moot point. That would have been a guy to provide some protection. And John Mozeliak was asked again about Barry Bonds. Would there be interest in Bonds? He said absolutely not.
Consistent.
Oh yeah. From day one, he said we just don't have interest in him.
I mean, the Gonzalez part is, where's he going to play?
And the main thing too, Al, is can he stay healthy?
Well, obviously that answer is no.
Hasn't been able to stay healthy last 3 to 5 years. There's Duncan, who hit the ball hard first time up, but into a double play for 6-3. His dad has done a terrific job with this pitching staff. Cardinals are 4th best in ERA. A 3.53 ERA collectively. A staff that a lot of people didn't expect this team to do much, nor the pitching to do much.
I think it was a reasonable assumption that you had some of these guys that you knew Wainwright was going to be a horse. Looper proved that he could be in the rotation. He didn't, Kyle Loesch wasn't supposed to be here, and Pinheiro was kind of, after being basically dumped by the Red Sox, a pickup by the Cardinals. Wellemeyer, went from being released by the Kansas City Royals and a relief pitcher with them, getting released, and the Cardinals pick him up, put him in their rotation. Carpenter not going to come back till the second half. So it is rather shocking what they've done, but their Cardinals' success is because of that starting pitching. Competition
within the starting five and competition with the outfield. I mean, you look at the guys that have big contracts on this team. Pujols, well, you know what you're going to get from Albert. He is motivated, but the Firestone earn run average, the team leaders in the National League, you got the Diamondbacks, the Cardinals, the Braves, the Phillies, and then the Los Angeles Dodgers. But the guys that are locked up long term are motivated players. Molina, Wainwright, Troy Glaus is trying to prove himself. Everybody else, it's a mission to say, I belong here, or I'm trying to get back to where I was, whether it be Cesar Izturis or Kyle Loesch, motivated by a one-year deal. Wellemeyer trying to stay in a rotation. Looper trying to do the same thing. Guys in the bullpen, same thing there.
And those guys were in walk years too.
Sure. Another check on the runner at first, and that's Rick Ankiel. Looper leads the staff. He's got 4 wins and just the 19th pitcher in Cardinals history to win 4 or more in April. Be his first start of the season against the Rockies. 1-2 in his career against Colorado. Mark Redmond will get the start for the Rockies. And I've talked to Looper about it, and he said, I feel now that I am a starter. And that's where my future is. I'm in the final year of my contract, and let's face it, Al, if he stays doing what he's doing and in the rotation, chance to make a pretty good deal in the offseason, whether with St. Louis or somebody else.
You're absolutely right. I mean, go out there and kind of, his case, maybe the final or the best offer may not be what he's looking for. He might just kind of look for a comfortable environment.
2-2 pitch to Duncan. That's strikeout number 4 for Jimenez. This year, when you can't be home to watch the Cardinals on FSN, check out MLB.tv, and you can go online to watch every out-of-market Cardinals game of the season live. For details, visit STLCardinals.com, where baseball is always on. And
you're a new subscriber,
I purchased it today because I want to watch the debut in the rotation of the Arizona Diamondbacks for Max Scherzer, which happens tonight in St. Louis. He's talking with Cal McClellan. And McClellan was a teammate, a traveling team in St. Louis when they were in high school. He and Scherzer, that's a pretty good rotation. But they also had, he was telling me something like 8 or 9 guys that either were signed or played Division I baseball on that team, and they were one of the top teams in the country. And Kyle said, I still just pinch myself. This is before the game tonight, that I'm with the Cardinals right now. He said, I grew up watching these guys, Molina, Pujols, Isringhausen. And what we see right now, he said, my family, a typical day was you got home from school, you had dinner, and he said some guys, they will go out and, the family will watch a show, or they'll go outside and play catch, whatever the case was. He said, we just sat down and watched baseball. Center field, base hit, and Ankiel will stop at second. He said, but I love the Cardinals, and for me, it's just been one of the greatest thrills of my life, obviously, pitching in the major leagues and doing it for his hometown team.
Ankiel thought about going to third, and based on Oquendo's scouting report, he probably should have.
The way he was going, he would have been there easily.
Yeah, and Podsednik, remember, does not have a strong throwing arm.
So Molina is now 2 for 2, and here's Pinheiro, struck out back in the second. Again, Jimenez has struck out 4. Pinheiro is hit.
He swung at it, so that's why it's called a strike. And Barry Weinberg out to make sure he's okay.
I'm not sure if that caught him on the hand or the wrist. Looks to be that they're looking at the pitching hand.
So the ball just running inside, and look at the swing.
Yeah, that caught his hand, his right hand.
So there's your concern. He says he's okay. Try opening your eyes this time. You know, convinced you're going to get a strike. And boy, you made it one. That's hard. It's tough on you, you know.
Well, it hurts. It's 90 miles an hour plus coming in. First and second, here comes the 0-1. It may feel all right now, but it could tighten up very easily or certainly hurt tomorrow morning. 0-2 pitch to Pinheiro. I will agree with you. Pinheiro takes better cuts than Jimenez.
After the first one, we weren't sure, but
I had to wait and see. And that is pulled foul. Joel Pinheiro trying to pick up his third win tonight for the Cardinals. Beginning this road trip, 8 games for St. Louis. 1-2. Mark Mulder, by the way, is making a rehab start tonight. John Mozeliak is with the Memphis Redbirds, and that'll be the first time he's had a chance to see Mulder in person. He's told both of us the reports he's gotten back have been good, even though the lines that we've seen after those starts have not.
Right. And granted, one of the most important things is how Mark Mulder feels himself. And sometimes it's hard to really judge results on a veteran pitcher who's coming back. But it'll be interesting to see what Mo says about what he sees in person.
2-2 pitch.
How about this? Making the count full.
A young pitcher out there on the mound, and he hits Pinheiro. And you wonder sometimes if the pitcher gets a little shook up, more so than the hitter. A young guy out there throwing hard. It shouldn't, but you wonder about it.
It shouldn't, and it's just part of the game. And in many ways, you just sit there and you just inspire you, especially because you got a strike on it instead of putting the bases loaded. You got a strike.
The 3-2, runners go. It's a pretty good at bat put together now by Pinheiro. Even if he makes an out, get the pitch count up.
Yeah. It's only 62 pitches at this point, and for a guy that struggled with command, not so today. 42 of his 62 have been strikes.
By the way, Mulder, an ERA after 4 rehab starts. With his start tonight, an ERA that's close to 6. Pinheiro pops it up. Left side. They'll give chase, and out of play about 3 or 4 rows deep.
And now this bat gets even better.
One of the things the Cardinals, Al, have been able to do is not walk many and take a lot of walks. As you see, our Chili's pitch count for Jimenez at 63. Cardinals, with the walk by Troy Gloss back in the second, now have walked 157 times.
Gets that on base percentage up, but along with that comes sometimes the inability to get the timely hits and straining far too many runners.
And meanwhile, Aaron Miles, 9th place hitter, waits on deck.
He's 3 for 4 off of this starter.
The 3-2 instead of check on the runners.
He always hits his former team, Aaron Miles, very well.
It's one of the reasons that he's in the lineup tonight. Also, Tony said that Isturis has been playing an awful lot, and they wanted to give him some time off. Pinheiro down the left field line. This ball is fair, just inside the line. Into the corner it goes. He's got a double, and the Cardinals have the lead. Joel Pinheiro with the at-bat of the night, and the Cardinals lead it 3-2.
That swing, he doubled his career RBI total with one swing of the bat, but he just kept on staying up there. Finally got one in his wheelhouse, just barely fair, and then they catch a break that it does not go over the wall for a ground rule double. So Joel, with his eyes open, got the ball in a zone where he could handle it, and now has 2 RBIs on the year and 4 for his career.
And all smiles in that dugout. Remember, in his last start, he got the high five from his teammates just because he put the ball in play.
Right, because he had struck out at one point. He had struck out every time this season prior to just hitting a little weak little ground ball someplace in the infield, and not even been back at the pitcher.
And now it is Aaron Miles, who is 1 for 1. Miles with a double back in the 3rd inning. Nearly a wild pitch. Well, check that. They give Miles a single, then an error on the misplay as Hop kind of bobbled it in right. So an error. But regardless, a base hit for Aaron his first time up.
Sure. See if you can't trade places with Pinheiro.
The 1-0 pitch. Miles to second, and Herrera makes the catch. Joel Pinheiro, an RBI double to play 2, and the Cardinals have their first lead of the night in super slow-mo as we take it a break here on FSN Midwest. Well, the Cardinals have a lead of 3-2 in the bottom of the 4th here at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. We talked about Mark Mulder making that rehab start for Memphis tonight. Here's the line. Thus far, he's still in the game. 6 innings, 9 hits, 7 earned runs. He has walked 2. He has struck out 4. If that line is any indication, the 9 hits and 6 innings in AAA, that doesn't bode well for Mulder. But again, we'll hear about how he looks, pitch speed, those kind of things. But again, to reiterate what Tony La Russa said at the beginning of the spring training, at the beginning of the season, he said the best 5 will be our 5. Don't worry about the contracts, but that's what we're going to go with. And if that's the case, Mulder needs some more time. Affleck! Our Affleck trivia question. What 3 players since '98 have recorded the most seasons batting 300 or better? You've got to figure Todd Helton would be one of those.
Well, because we're here in Colorado, yes. We would assume that.
At a career average of 330 will do that for you, too.
And I think people would naturally think Albert Pujols would be on that line. But you have to kind of wonder, has he been playing long enough?
That was my guess.
Would he have enough years? Because there are some exceptional hitters in the big leagues.
Mulder, by the way, is on a 30-day rehab. So the Cardinals, as this swing is hit out to left and over Duncan. Atkins on his way to second.
I don't know if he could have caught that ball, but he did misplay it, as he did not go back on the line drive. Remember earlier the ball that he was able to reach up and haul in, and he kind of held his ground. This time the ball kind of, it's a little bit before that he kind of slid and was going to his left where he needed to go back on it.
So it's a double for Atkins, and it brings in Hop, who is homered. But I was about to say, Al, the Cardinals, have a choice to extend, go to extended spring training with Mulder if they feel he is not ready. And Mulder stated last week at Busch Stadium, when his time's up, he wants to be with the big club.
Well, I'm sure he wants to be, but with those kind of results, it'd be hard to say he's the best, one of the best 5.
Shallow left, drops in front of Duncan, then away from Duncan. The run will score, and this game is tied.
As you go back on one ball, and then you get a little bit gun shy, and And you see he's just mad at himself, and he knows that he's much better. He's getting better. He works hard at it on a daily basis. But this time, hit off the end of the bat. It's not going to carry far, and it's going to keep on slicing away from it. So he comes in, but then he actually gets a little too close to it and takes the high hop and bounces over. Remember about that ball that hit Piñeiro's hand. So I wonder, Tony's going to come out and talk to Piñeiro. Now, he may have seen something that he did not like in reference to how Piñeiro is kind of reacting to Duncan out there, who's trying to help him. Because he did not ask for an injury visit. So it might have something he just wanted to send a little message to his pitcher.
Let's take a look at the Aflac trivia question and answer again. And this is the most seasons batting 300 since '98. Helton 10, Vladimir Guerrero at 9, and Derek Jeter with 8.
And there's what you're talking about, is Albert has 7. So falls a little bit short.
Here is Iannetta. I did not see the reaction from Piñeiro. Maybe
I didn't either. No, I didn't. But I mean, it's like initially I'm thinking Tony's going to go out there and check in his hand because of where he was hit on his pitching hand. But he did not go to the umpire. Got Ron Vallone up.
The versatile lefty that was the winner in the game on Friday night after the walk-off home run from Schumacher. There's another hard hit ball, a broken bat, and a base hit and a missed play by Duncan in left. And it is piling on Chris Duncan right now in this inning. His second error. Not the kind of birthday he was envisioning here tonight in Denver, Colorado. Another misplay through the legs. His second error in this inning.
Look where his glove is almost between his legs instead of out in front of it. And Troy Glass, I think, one more time, just trying to a little emotionally tell Piñeiro, hey, come on, we're all trying to help you. I know you got the big hit, but you don't know what Chris is going to do later on in this game to either get you off the hook or win this game for you. But nobody feels worse than Chris Duncan right now.
So Colorado back on top. It's now 4-3. And Piñeiro looking out towards left field.
You can't do that, and that's it. Tony's going to come and take him out and bring in Ron Vallone.
Rockies and Cardinals tomorrow at 6:30 with game number 2 of this 4-game set. And that's going to be it for Piñeiro. 8 hits for the Rockies, and Vallone coming in. So Ron Vallone will take over for Joel Piñeiro, and a rough night for Chris Duncan. 4-3 Colorado. 4-3 Rockies, and Piñeiro is out of the ball game. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Tough inning for Piñeiro, tough night for Chris Duncan, and you wonder if this had anything to do with Piñeiro and his pitching tonight. But even prior to him getting hit on his pitching hand, he was getting hit pretty hard.
Yeah, and that was ruled a swing, because he swung at it, hit on the hand. He did not record an out after that. He got the big 2-run double to give the Cardinals the lead, but could not get an out. Allowed 3 straight singles, and he finds himself out of this game. And where would the Cardinals be without Ron Vallone? Boy, has he done an outstanding job for the Cardinals.
Vallone has been around forever, it seems like, and he's been used in a lot of different spots for Tony La Russa. He worked 2 1/3 Friday night against Chicago. Picked up his first win as a Cardinal. The 38-year-old now into this ball game. 4-3 Colorado. First pitch is taken inside. Again, they really need a lot of work now from their bullpen in this first game of the series. They do have Parisi, who can go along, but Franklin unavailable. McClellan probably not available. So let's see what Vallone can do here.
He can give you multiple innings. And, I think ideally they would want Parisi to begin an inning for a guy that's never worked out of the bullpen. Give him ample time to warm up, and may determine his availability based on what Ron Vallone does.
How lonely of a feeling it must be right now for Chris Duncan out left. The 2-0 pitch. A strike. 2 errors in the inning. Misplay on the first base hit. The 2-1 pitch. One thing about this field, certainly was the case prior to the humidor, but it's such a spacious outfield that you've got to have guys that can flat out run and catch it.
Yeah, it's, they tried to make the dimensions deeper to, make that an equalizer for the 9% further distance because of the high altitude here.
And a swing and a miss by the 8th place hitter, Jonathan Herrera. And Balone gets the first out here in the bottom half of the 4th. A lonely feeling right now for Chris Duncan in left. And here's Jimenez. You can get your pitcher here. It did not look good his first time up, and then all of a sudden you got the top of the order, but 2 outs.
Getting that first strikeout, or the first out of the inning, is very helpful.
A double, pair of singles, couple of errors. Jimenez struck out back in the 2nd inning.
He's 0 for 13 on the season and 3 for 40 in his career.
Showing bunt here. And takes a ball low and in. The Cardinals will have the top of the lineup: Schumacher, Kennedy, and Albert Pujols. And we move to the 5th.
No sacrifices this year in 4 in his limited career.
It's the bunt down, but pushes it foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Does not look comfortable even trying to sacrifice.
Now, you played obviously at a high level, didn't play a position, but what happens to Chris Duncan when he comes into that dugout? Do the players even talk to him? Does Tony La Russa go over and visit with him? Dave McKay, the guy that helps him day in and day out in the outfield? Or do you just leave him alone?
Well, he probably hopes nobody talks to him, but I'm sure that he'll get the support of his teammates are saying, hey, just let it go. Don't let it ride all through the game. That's the worst thing they can do, is you're sitting there just beating yourself up. So I'm sure somebody will go and just say, hey, relax, it's okay, it's over and done with, just don't dwell on it. And you kind of have to pick and choose who does that. The players can kind of do it. It wouldn't be bad if Dave McKay did it because he's the outfield instructor.
2-1 pitch to Jimenez. Broken bat, slowly hit to 2nd. Pujols has to get back to the bag. In plenty of time, he is. And that's out number 2. Our Geico quote. Pitching at this ballpark. This is Steve Reed. If you can keep the other team below what you scored, did a good job.
And of course, Steve Reed pitched when these scores were all so lopsided or double figures. I remember the first games we ever did in Mile High Stadium, you didn't even know who. All you know is who won, and whoever had the last at bat had a distinct advantage, because it wasn't uncommon to score in every inning for both teams.
At that time, I was working at KMOX. I was the guy that would mess up on the radio stuff, the engineer. I used to have about 4 tape machines going because every other minute there was a highlight.
There was definite highlights. Or lowlights.
It was unbelievable.
If you're a pitcher, it was lowlights. Denveritis is a very curable disease. It only lasts for 3 or 4 days.
I got a little sore shoulder, my elbows acting up, barking. But I'll be ready for the weekend. I just can't go these 4 games.
We're in another town.
That's right.
I know all about it because I ended my career here, trying to come back and trying to learn a forkball pitching in Mile High Stadium. It helped me get through, understand my career was over.
Well, that's tough.
And as a starting pitcher,
you're trying to do something you haven't done, which is start. You're trying to make it back to the big leagues, which is tough enough to do. And then you're trying to do it here. And your pitches aren't doing anything except getting drilled, I guess.
And remember, it was left field power alley was about 330.
2-1 pitch on the outside corner, and Posednik didn't like it. 2-2. A lot of Cardinal fans when you come to Denver, as the Cardinals for the longest time were the team that was the furthest west.
And one time I think the Cardinals had a minor league franchise here in 1932.
They did. 2-2. On Posednik. Up and in, almost hit him. Posednik is lined out to center and grounded out.
Now he's set up for that sweeping breaking ball down the way. These two have had to face each other.
Malone has faced a lot of guys.
He's had a lot of teammates too.
You bet. This one is slicing. Duncan on the move, and he'll make the catch. Makes the play on the run near the line. Rough heading for Duncan. Schumacher, Kennedy, Albert. Sun is setting here out west in our Bud Light What's on Tap. Bud Light keeps it coming. And it's game 2 of our 4-game series tomorrow. The Cardinals and the Rockies at 6:30 on FSN Midwest. Game 2 of the 4-game set. Top of the lineup here is Skip Schumacher.
Cincinnati helps the Cardinals by defeating the Cubbies 5-3.
Ken Griffey Jr. initially not in the lineup. His best friend passed away, a 38-year-old gentleman that he grew up with, and Jr. asked to be put back in the lineup by Dusty Baker, and for the first time in a long time, Kangaroo Court is going to get Skip Schumacher for that, but first time in a long time, Ken Griffey Jr. the other day batting second in the lineup for Cincinnati. Talked with Skip Schumacher prior to the game. He said one of the guys that really has helped him out in his career, and he mentioned 2 really, but one is currently playing, the other is not. Mark McGuire during the offseason helped out he and Chris Duncan talk about the mental approach to the game. They said the other guy that he still gets text messages from after the game, Jim Edmonds. Said Edmonds was huge, picking up little things, and Edmonds was trying to help out a young player. And Skip said, I'll always be very appreciative for what Jim did for me.
Oh yeah, and Jim many times have gone to us and told us about his arm strength and different things and aspects of his game. And sometimes they still miss Scott Rowland and Jim Edmonds because they could go and bounce things off of those guys because they experienced everything, good and bad.
And Skip said people now are starting to get the kind of idea of what type of player I can be, in particular in the leadoff spot. Here's Kennedy. He said that's where I've been pretty much even since high school and college and in the minor leagues, and I do like to take a lot of pitches in this leadoff spot, but most of the time fans saw me as a pinch hitter, and they ask us to be aggressive early on in the count, not take a lot of pitches.
The only time you're going to be criticized as a pinch hitter is if you don't swing. So that's, it's really one of the toughest jobs. So you've got to go up there, be ready to swing at the very first strike you see. And as he said, he is now in the role that he's most accustomed to, leading off.
Short lead over at first, and Kennedy takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Adam tonight with a triple back in the first, then was left stranded, and a hard hit ball to first in the third, and that would score Aaron Miles for the Cardinals' first run of the night. His RBI number 12. You always hear Tony talk about damage from this spot in the lineup. This may be damage here. Deep right field, and it's off the top of the wall. Kennedy on his way to second base. Throw into second. is in time, and he's out. The throw by Brad Hopp.
Hopp played that perfectly high off the wall. He just missed a home run by a couple feet. And Kennedy going out there, and I think the throw was just a little bit towards the first base side, and he gets tagged in the helmet before he gets to the bag. So good call by Andy Fletcher. The throw's at the bag, he slides underneath the tag, but because it was towards first base, he had a chance. There's an average arm, but an average arm from a right fielder, but where he positioned it, getting the carom off the wall and in on the grass, he had a great opportunity to throw him out.
So another chance for Pujols with a runner at third and one out. He struck out his first time up. This time a ground ball to the right side, picks up the RBI. And this game is tied at 4-4. Pujols with his 24th RBI of the season. Initially, in watching Kennedy, when he rounded first, I'm not so sure he was running that hard. I think he thought that ball was gone, and then he had to turn it up a notch or two, and it wasn't in time. Let's take a look.
You're going to find this, hits it well. He's running pretty good, but I think like you say, he wasn't at full speed. It didn't really look like he changed his gait once he saw that it wasn't a home run either, did it?
No. Right around first base, a little hesitation, I thought. And that hesitation may have cost him. Regardless, though, Kennedy has got a couple of base hits and an RBI. Here's Ankiel. He singled up the middle last time up. 2 balls and no strikes. Struck out looking his first time up.
Scherzer has allowed his first major league run. I like his number.
I'm assuming he's 39. I can't see out there. I'm going.
You blind bat?
No,
you're correct. Go with your instincts. 39.
39. There's a walk by Ricky Ankiel on base for the second time. And there's number 49, Jason Grilli, a right-hander getting loose in the bullpen for the Rockies. Now they, since we last saw them, have changed their closer. Manny Corpus is out and just working exclusively from the middle relief to a time setup, and then Brian Fuentes, the 3-time All-Star, the lefty, is now their closer again.
I remember they gave Corpus a 4-year contract in spring training, and based on what he did last year down the stretch, they never thought that he would have trouble handling that job, but apparently he did.
0 for 1 is Troy Gloss tonight with a walk. That was back in the second. Lined out to left. Hit on the ground to short, force play, and the Cardinals have tied it up midway through 5. The beautiful sunset here in Denver, Colorado. Cardinals baseball rolls on here on FSN Midwest. Malone back to work. And a strike on the outside corner. Ubaldo Jimenez has walked 3 tonight. Now the starters of the Rockies have issued 86 walks. From the starters.
That's more than our staff has walked, right?
It's right there. I know the Cardinals starting staff is, I believe, the best in the National League. And the Cardinals as a team, 98 walks. The entire team coming into play tonight.
And you cannot walk anybody in this ballpark. Really still warming up, so you wonder if Jimenez is through for the night. Used to want to stick with your starters a little bit longer in this ballpark.
There's Parisi up and just stretching a bit.
He's got glove and ball in his hand.
And a few butterflies, I'm sure. Duncan makes the catch. Boy, he is fighting it right now. Some butterflies out there for Mike Parisi.
I think he told Jim Hayes that his family is He's going to start throwing, so this will probably be the final inning for Valone, and then we'll see Mike Parisi make his major league start.
Brian Bartow, part of the Cardinals front office and PR department, informs us Mulder tonight 6 innings, 9 hits, 7 runs. All earned. Walked 2 and 4 strikeouts. No home runs allowed. 90 pitches, 61 were strikes.
Also hit a batter. And Memphis is trailing 7-4 after 6 innings.
Here is Matt Holliday. Four game here in the 5th. On the outside corner, that's a strike, 2-1.
There's Brian Bartow. He was dying to get his pretty face on camera.
2-1 pitch.
Dr. Terry Yoakum is up here. That's Bob Gibson. There they are, a couple from the Cardinals Legends camp.
Hey, look, we're on TV. That's right.
Dr. Yoakum is a world-renowned radiologist.
That's strike 2. Mentioned before that Holliday almost was the MVP a year ago. Eventually that went to Jimmy Rollins of the Philadelphia Phillies, who predicted at the beginning of last season that the Phillies would make it into postseason play, and they did.
What kind of years Rollins have?
Been hurt a lot.
Where all the finalists were, what kind of year they have?
We had Rollins, Holliday, Prince Fielder, David Wright, and Ryan Howard, who is off to a tough start in the strikeout department, the St. Louisan.
And I think David Wright, that Tuplet is the only one that's with his 26 RBIs amongst the league leaders in that department.
It's early, but Rollins' teammate up the middle, Chase Utley, far and away is the MVP of the first month plus of this regular season. He's off to a great start.
Yeah, check out Chipper Jones.
It's a good pick. I'm going with Chase. Home runs, RBIs, the game-winning hits, but Chipper Jones is off to a fantastic start. Membership to Cardinals Nation. You get great perks, including game day audio, access to special ticket offers, and you can join Cardinals Nation right now at STLCardinals.com. So a walk to Holliday, and now the lefty-lefty matchup. This is Todd Helton. Long look by Valone, and time is cold. Maybe Kip Wells is watching the game tonight in St. Louis. We wish him nothing but the best. He's got a blood clot in his right hand, and he'll have a procedure at Barnes Jewish Hospital tomorrow in St. Louis. He is 1-1 with a 2.29 ERA. He did make a start and was actually the opening day starter for Colorado.
Pitched very well against the Cardinals.
And
he won.
Yeah, the 22-inning game.
Right.
Was it San Diego, I believe?
Yes. So, wish him well. Of course, Kip will be in good hands at Barnes Jewish Hospital. That's where he had that other surgery.
Help in the air, left center. And Keel, please call for it. He does. And makes the catch.
Damn. I'm sure nobody else said that. Just you.
Duncan is fighting it a little bit. So with the guy that is, well, let's just say he's had a little bit better success with the baseball tonight.
Still, you've got to go over there.
And Duncan, well, Tony's going to stick with him out there. Keep him playing. There's 2 outs, and here is Garrett Atkins. And what I'm saying, too, is that, you know, you have a center fielder. If he can get to the ball,
well, yeah,
you want him to take it.
But you also want Chris to do exactly what he did. You go over there and make that play in case Rick slipped or fell, and then you vacate the area when you're called off by your center fielder. And we know how hard he works, so it's a work in progress.
Here is Atkins and a check on the runner at first, and it looked like Holiday may have been leaning.
It looked like he was very slow to get back. It wasn't Vallone's A move. He just wanted to get his attention, and if he had the A move, he might have picked him off.
And your move was?
Terrible.
You went the slide step. You didn't?
No, I was too quick. Nobody could steal off me anyway.
There's a rope out to left field. Duncan over to get it. And staying at second base, Holiday, first and second.
I did remember the first time I was in the instructional league my first year, and we had Warren Spahn was the AAA manager, and I was so excited to get a chance to talk to a guy that won 363 wins, most ever by a left-hander. And the only thing, his 2 weeks down instructionally, the only thing he wanted to do with me is he wanted to totally change my motion so I'd have a better pickoff move. And I said, Mr. Spahn, I know that's important, but I'd rather learn how to keep the guy from getting on base. That wasn't important to him.
Runners at first and second. You also played the outfield.
I was telling you in the break that I did have some experience, like Chris Duncan, playing in Mexico. I would start, and then I'd play the outfield, and I just got into a phobia where I just was terrible, and got to a point where you didn't want the ball hit to me. So I know a little bit about that.
Well, Duncan's a guy that is trying to learn the position. It's still a work in progress.
Yeah.
He's played left. He has played right. And at times, he can certainly be a big-time threat at the plate. He's got power potential from the left side. Let's see what they want to do on 0-2. What we have seen Vallone do is go up and in, or at least back a left-hander off, and then the next pitch is that slider.
That's why that front shoulder. And as a pitcher, you can't let it fly open. And as a hitter, especially when you're a lefty facing a lefty, you can't let it fly open.
The 0-2 pitch from Ron Vallone with runners at first and second. Here it comes. There's that breaking ball on the outside corner, 1-2. Four game as we play here in the Rockies half of the fifth.
Got to trust your hands, be quick enough with your hands, but you got to think about taking the ball up the middle or maybe even a little bit to the left center field gap. And then if the ball's inside, just trust that your hands are quick enough that they'll get there, at the very least foul it off.
The other day I was talking with John Mozeliak, the Cardinals general manager, and recently promoted was Brian Anderson, highly thought of catcher in the Cardinals system. And I said, well, you have Molina for a number of years, it looks like, behind home plate. Have you thought about, maybe moving him with a position because he does have a good bat? And he said, no. He said he's a guy we really respect. He can be a major league type catcher.
You're talking about moving Anderson.
Correct.
To a different position.
Not Yachty.
Yeah.
And they feel he'll be the backup of the future.
Yeah, he's an offensive player.
Right.
And he's not very big, Brian Anderson. And once again, you got Molina for quite a few years, but we saw last year you never have enough protection. But the Cardinals are very, much better shape this year with Jason LaRue.
Two and two the count. Runners at first and second. 4-4 game. Malone from the stretch. And that just missed.
Pretty good eye to take that pitch. 2 strikes, run the count full. So the runners will be going.
Ball in the gap and a chance to maybe score 2. Duncan and Schumacher very deep in the corner outfield spots. And Keel straight away. 3-2 pitch. Fouled back and a good rip by Brad Hoff, who tonight is homered and picked up an RBI single to left. Three-two pitch again from Valone. Their long look and a strikeout. So Valone records his second strikeout. Rockies strand 2. They have stranded 5 on the night. Duncan coming up when we come back. And we are back in the pitch by pitch brought to you by Chevrolet. This is Valone with 2 runners on, and he is facing Brad Hoff, and this would end the 5th. Jumped out to an 0-2 count. Missed on a couple of those pitches just outside. That was the one he thought he had to call third strike. Hoff would foul off the next one, and the slider got him. Took a little something off that pitch. And there's a look at Dave Duncan, top of the 6th, and we're tied up at 4-4.
Well, it's amazing if you can throw that an off-speed pitch and 3-2 like that. How many times, even if it's around the plate, you're going to get the strikeout.
Matt Hergis is our call to the bullpen, brought to you by Chevrolet, and this will be his 17th appearance and good ERA under 2. And here's Duncan.
They have played very few games here at home. Cardinals are the opposite. They played the fewest road games in the National League, where Colorado's played the fewest home games.
The 1-0 pitch to Chris Duncan. Duncan, along with Pujols, begin their careers 20 or more home runs in back-to-back seasons. So that's why
the only Cardinals to do that.
Yeah, you look for a spot because he does give you power from the left side. And Tony has talked about the second spot in the lineup. He wants to see power from that spot. Lately, it has been Kennedy. He's come alive. So at times you'll have some issues with Duncan in the outfield, but I'll tell you what, he has struggled tonight, but for the most part, Al, he's made the plays.
Well, yeah, he's only made 2 errors last season. He's made 2 here tonight, and nowhere near is he as inept as people in some people's mind. And he's working at it hard every day. It's just he is not put together. 2 years ago, he had the great second half. Last season, he had the great first half, and he had the sports hernia injury, and that really took his power away, and he's still trying to get on track this year.
Count is even, 2-2. Called third strike. So he is grounded into a double play and struck out twice, and this is our Hardy's hot pitch of the game.
He's going out there and just an off-speed pitch and just freezes Duncan.
After what we saw with the Cardinals last year, what we're seeing now in the first plus month of the season with the Rockies, you certainly can make a case it's a World Series hangover. The team had the amazing run to make it into the postseason, and then they swept the National League teams in the playoffs, and then Clint Hurdle was swept out of the World Series. But a lot of people talk about that World Series hangover, but that was truly one of the great runs in baseball history just to get to the playoffs.
Yeah, like 20 out of 21. They won it going down the stretch and in the first round of the playoffs. First couple rounds.
Clint Hurdle has been their manager since 2002, and he's been with Colorado for a number of years. He was their hitting coach. And Todd Helton his reaction, and you'll see the picture everywhere you walk around the ballpark of that final out to make it to the World Series, and certainly that young man helps out. Matt Holliday.
I remember Helton got tired of hearing he had the most at bats or most time without going to the World Series or going into World Series, I guess it was.
No,
he was glad to erase that.
And it was not just winning all the games, the fashion in which they did it, some of the dramatic wins that they had.
Well, that's why wild card teams have been so successful.
Yadier Molina with a high fly ball out to left. Holliday drifting back under it to make the catch. And that's 2 down. So with 2 outs, pitcher's spot is due up, and let's see what Tony wants to do. Another good job here by Ron Vallone.
Well, Ron Vallone just keeps on doing it. Wainwright, you never have enough players in this ballpark. So Wainwright will get another shot at pinch hitting.
I know you talked to Clint Hurdle about his young daughter who suffers from Prader-Willi syndrome, which affects 1 out of every 12 to 15 babies, and it's a birth defect and something he has dealt with and dealt with quite well, he and his wife.
Yeah, they're blessed to have that young lady, and she's had some, gosh, how many times she's gone into epileptic fits and stuff, but it's been over a year since the last time they've had one, so the medication is working.
1 ball, 1 strike. Burgess respects Wainwright. He's throwing him off speed pitches.
Well, it gets around. You don't wouldn't set up a pitcher. He's from Champaign, Illinois, so he still has close roots back to St. Louis. And now he throws that 88-mile-an-hour fastball, and it looks like it's about 95.
Take a look at the signals again here on Adam Wainwright.
Fastball in.
Wainwright will pitch Wednesday for the Cardinals. On the inside corner, and he strikes out. Now, if you're a pitcher, even if you're a pinch hitter, you don't argue, because he might be behind the plate when you're pitching. 4-4. Cardinals baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by Rico. Move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. By your local St. Louis Chrysler dealers. And by Jack in the Box. We don't make it until you order it. Well, we've got a Major League debut. What is going through his mind right now? Mike Parisi, who is making his debut as a reliever, something he has never done in his professional career.
But somehow, some way, you're a little more receptible to it pitching in the big leagues. And I think some of his family and relatives were able to get in here.
They are here. Jim Hayes talked to him on the pregame show,
and Mr. Bubbles was got a really nice interview from Mike.
93-mile-an-hour fastball. Let's see what Mike Parisi has.
He's got a real good curveball. His changeup is a work in progress. He's the first from the 04 draft class to make it.
There's the curveball on a hop hit to Troy Gloss over to Albert. Let's check in with Jim Hayes. By the way, nice interview, Jim, on the pregame show.
Dan, I appreciate it. And now, hi. I did talk to Parisi in the pregame show and asked him, it's always a great moment when that young player gets the call up to the big leagues and fulfills that lifelong dream. He said he was at the mall getting some pizza. His manager at AAA gave him a call. He said he had just ordered pizza. He put it up. He paid for it. Didn't get a chance to eat it, and he was gone.
So he didn't eat the pizza. He paid for it, but he was so excited. He said, "The heck with it. I'm off to St. Louis."
He put it on the counter, and he walked away. I said, "No to-go box." He was so excited, didn't feel like eating. It's understandable.
Hey, Cat. I mean, you gotta understand. What that pizza is at the mall is kind of like minor league. He's a big leaguer now.
Still, though, you have an appetite, Al. You got to eat something.
Well, yeah, but you got to have big league meals.
There's a curveball, and Troy Gloss is there.
He also told me, gentlemen, that he usually has 3 curveballs, 3 different speed curveballs that he offers up. He said Dave Duncan told him, don't worry about the different changes of speed for your curveball, worry about location. So he's already learning stuff from Dave Duncan.
Location, location, location.
What you mean by that is a lot of times you'll have a slow variety of the breaking ball to get ahead of the count. And then later on, maybe that same curveball, you'll speed it up to try to put away a hitter. That'd be a fastball. 93.
You can live with that. This guy has come in and throwing strikes.
Well, that's the whole key. And, you know, I mean, if you come in and throw strikes, then you've got, you know, one, you're setting the tone. You're showing that you're not afraid.
This is Matt Hergis, the reliever.
Illinois State is where he played his collegiate baseball. And
another product of the Missouri Valley Conference.
Right. And his brother-in-law is Todd Hollinsworth. Todd married his sister.
Here's the curveball, the net misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mike Parisi. Major League debut tonight here in Colorado.
Here comes the Uncle Charlie.
And he throws him.
Got his first
strikeout. Strikeout of Hergis, his first in the major leagues. Nice debut for Mr. Parisi. A 1-2-3 debut here in Colorado. Miles, Schumacher, Kennedy coming up. The top of the 7th rolls in here at Coors Field. It's 4-4. Gwynn Ogle is tonight's merchandise winner, the Hyundai Long Drive Inning Sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run, Gwynn will qualify for the Hyundai Sonata drawing in September. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer. Nice debut for Mike Parisi. Adam Wainwright and his fellow teammates with congratulations for Mike.
Well, it's not over yet. I mean, we're in a tie ball game, so they concentrate on being the pitcher of record. It's not like you get that first opportunity in a blowout game or lopsided game. He's out there pitching as the pitcher of record.
Here is Miles, followed by Schumacher and Kennedy. And he slaps one foul. Former Rocky, Aaron Miles.
Aaron Miles was 2 for 3 off of tonight's starter. But he's always hit well against the Rockies, so that's why he's getting the playing time.
Larry Bigby was supposed to be the centerpiece of the deal for the Cardinals.
Well, he was. Just couldn't find the field due to injury.
And when he did, he was ineffective for the most part. So Miles turns out to be a pretty good player for the Cardinals. Slaps one the other way, and backing up to make the play is Holliday. What's going on in left field tonight? As Holliday came in, went back to make the catch. Well, tomorrow the Cardinals continue their 4-game series in the Mile High City as they'll take on the Rockies. Our coverage begins at 6:30. Cardinals Live right here on FSM Midwest.
Holliday came in on the ball, hit by Miles. Then he had to go race back. It was a good thing he's about 6'4", 6'5".
Here's Skip Schumacher. That tails in there for a strike. Skip was telling me that besides the day that his son was born, Friday night was probably the greatest thrill for him in his life as he picked up the walk-off home run against the Chicago Cubs.
And we hope he has many more. Whether it's the birth of future kids or a whole bunch of walk-offs. There you see the score. Cincinnati finishes off the Cubs 5-3.
Grounder and fair. Schumacher looking for extra bases. Off the sidewall, and Hop will get it back into the infield. Skip Schumacher on base for the 2nd time tonight.
Getting himself into scoring position with his double. It's his 8th double of the season.
And it brings in Kennedy. The starter for Colorado only lasted 5 innings. That was Jimenez. This is the second inning of work for Matt Hergis.
Missing location, pushing a little bit too much of the plate, and hammered just inside the first base bag for his double. And Kennedy's had a productive night and could have been a little bit better if he hustled out of the box in his last time.
Kennedy is tripled back in the first, picked up an RBI in the third, and also a single in the fifth. You see, 7th inning or later, he's 9 for 21.
Boy, and that's an important stat. And you do it late.
Also an important stat, can he hit left-handed pitching? And this season, Al, he already has more hits against lefties than he did the entire season a year ago. He wants to get more playing time against left-handers, and he's 6 for 12 this season. He was 5 for 41 a year ago.
Well, he was just at a career low batting average, 219. There you see what he's done this year, that 500 average, and just under 300 against the righties. That'll get you your playing time.
As you mentioned, nearly picked up the home run, which would have been his first home run since August 7th of last season.
Ended up missing about the last 48 games with the knee surgery, and you could tell his other knee is hurting a little bit, but he is a lot sounder.
The 1-1 pitch. Kennedy pops it fouling out of play. You always hear Tony talk about, and I mentioned it before, that damage in the second spot. But if you get production like Kennedy's been giving you, you got to keep him there.
Right. Well, and I think that, you know, he's willing to sacrifice some of that power in the second spot to have some extra base power in the 6th spot now, because you had sort of a tail end of your batting order. There's a lot of singles hitters in there, so put some extra base power or the long ball power of a Duncan.
1-2 the count on Adam Kennedy with Pujols on deck. Kennedy hits it high in the air opposite field, backing up Holiday. He'll make the catch. Will Pujols see a pitch in this at bat? First base is wide open with 2 outs, and the go-ahead run at second base. If they would walk him, that would mean 33 straight games that he has reached base to start this season. 4 straight, they're going to put him on. The intentional walk in Pujols is on pace for over 150 walks this season.
Nowhere near what Bonds had. That was around 230. He leads. I'm wondering, it's his 34th walk. It's also, I think, his 10th intentional pass. Both of them tops in the major leagues.
And he's getting the Bonds treatment here. But I don't think you can disagree one bit with Clint Hurdle.
Not at all, even though you have a right-handed pitcher walking a right-handed batter to bring up a left-hander.
Coming up, it'll be Stan the Man Day. May 18th against Tampa Bay. 1:15 is the first pitch. It's also an ice cream sundae brought to you by North Star and Hunter Family Sundays as well.
And it's our understanding they are anticipating doing a nice little ceremony for Stan the Man that day, so he'll be in attendance.
And the Champions Club, by the way, there's a couple of groups that turned back their tickets for the Champions Club, so that is wide open. There's 300 seats available. And if you haven't checked that out, it's the place to be this season with the Cardinals and Busch Stadium. It's the Champions Club, and you can get your tickets at stlcardinals.com for that usual Sunday coming up. And Keel tonight, called out on strikes first time up, singled up the middle. He also walked in the 5th. And Keel has shown a lot of patience at the plate, enjoying his walks along the way. Young hitter, it's good to see.
He has 16 walks on the season. Need to improve that average in the 7th inning or later. And what better time to do it right now? Of course, he already has 6 game-winning hits,
which is tied with Manny Ramirez of Boston atop the major leagues. Took something off that pitch, strike 2. With runners in scoring position this season, and Keel at the start of play tonight hitting .314.
also has 6 go-ahead RBIs.
The go-ahead run at second. Who holds the runner at first? That's Schumacher out at second base. The 0-2. Braden Looper tomorrow. Mark Redmond will go for the Rockies. Adam Wainwright, Jeff Francis. Good matchup there in game 3. And then on Thursday afternoon, Cal Loge and Jorge De La Rosa, who's 0-1 with an ERA over 20.
Redmond recently had a 10-run first inning. Ended up pitching six innings that game. Pitched 5 shutout innings after that.
A long look. Here comes a 1-2 pitch to Rick Ankiel. In the dirt. Nice block by Iannetta. 2-2, and the fans applaud that.
You can see right now the way Rick is watching these pitches. You know, here's this ball in the dirt, and he was ready, did not flinch, didn't offer. He's getting a pretty good look. I'm looking for a 3-run home run.
Cardinals only 6 home runs during the 9 games on the homestand. That's it.
Not a home run?
You're calling it right here?
Yeah.
The 2-2. A strikeout of Ankiel. Time to stretch.
Wrong pitch.
Tied up. It's 4-4. Bottom of the 7th, and it's tied up at 4-4. Interesting night here at the ballpark, especially for the outfielders, Al, on both sides.
Well, you see Hoppe, he had some trouble out there in right field. He's misplayed a couple balls. Duncan's had an adventure as he's made a couple errors in this ball game. Even Holiday out in left had trouble, misread that one, was able to recover.
Parisi, a nice first inning of work. Now he gets the top of the lineup. Posednik, Quintanilla, and Holiday. The first pitch is taken low and in. Mike Parisi recorded his first strikeout of Matt Hergis, and then he got a couple of ground balls over to third, and Troy Gloss. Gloss is in on the grass over third base with the fine speed of Posednik. 2 balls and no strikes.
Compliment him on coming out and throwing strikes. And here he's falling behind Posednik.
Little chopper hit towards the middle. Miles to his left, and he gets Posednik by a step.
Had a little trouble with the exchange, but got the job done. You throw strikes, you get ground balls, you get outs.
Coming up, it's the baseball report this week here on FSM Midwest. They'll take a look at all the top teams, top highlights, and top players around the major leagues. Friday at 5:30 on FSM Midwest. That'll begin our baseball coverage that night. Then at 6 o'clock, hour-long pregame show, and then Cardinals baseball, the postgame show. We'll be in Milwaukee, first of 4 against the Brewers. An odd schedule this year, where you've had a couple of 2-game series, and then here's a 4-game series and a 4-game series against Milwaukee.
Carry over where you extend over Sunday, staying in the same city.
Shortstop for the Rockies, Omar Quintanilla. 1 for 3 with a base hit back in the 3rd. We showed those plays with Duncan, and I mean, you feel for him because you know he's out of position a little bit right now. He's still a work in progress in the outfield. And let's face it, if the Cardinals are going to have success this year, they need his bat to be productive.
And, you know, it's one of those things you wonder if they had the lead, Tony, would he make the defensive replacement tonight, or would he sit there and say, I don't want to, compound it.
Exactly.
And kind of get it into his head that, he's lost confidence in it. Right now, Tony's going, I want him in that lineup because one swing of the bat, he can give us the victory.
That's right. Duncan with 2 home runs this season. He's due up second for the Cardinals in the top of the 8th. No activity in the Cardinal bullpen. There's a strike, 3-1.
Parisi, he was supposed to make the start at Memphis on Sunday. So when he got the call up, obviously he has been stretched out.
High fly ball, right center field, pretty well hit. And Keel is back. He is back and makes the catch. And Keel on the track. And he comes up with a great play for out number 2.
I think Rick just kept on. It's such a big, vast outfield that he just kept on going back, and kind of changed the circle as hitter, and just really never, he kind of lost his balance right before he stepped onto the warning track.
Almost was turned around on that play. Got a long way to go.
Well, remember too, coming off the bat of a left-handed hitter is going to kind of slice, back towards center field. He's running into right field, and that's where he kind of had to change his approach a little bit as the ball slicing on him. That ball was up, and you do that to Holiday, and it's not going to stay in this park.
You got to wonder if all the outfielders being affected by something tonight, because we've seen Pop have trouble in right, Duncan in left, Holiday on his ball in left, and then that one from Ricky and Keel.
It's just being sympathetic. Just wants to make Chris understand that it could happen to anybody. Just being a real team player.
3-0.
He's falling behind everybody this inning, right? But he's gotten the first 2. And he uses Holiday.
That's a walk on the outside corner. And Keel was playing in a little bit for the shortstop, and he had a long way to go.
Yeah, you see where he's out there and he's shading, and coming off the bat of a left-hander, this ball is going to continue to kind of slice. See, he's running into right center, and now he has to kind of run straight back as that ball kind of sliced and was coming back towards center a little bit.
A walk, and now it's Todd Helton. Are you a little surprised not to see Flores up?
No, because I think that, I think they want to try and get as much out of Parisi as they possibly can. Molina out to talk to him. He's falling behind the first 3 hitters. He got the first 2, but couldn't come back on Holiday. And you just got to remember what kind of hitter this is.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals wrapped up winning 6 of 9 on the homestand, the first of 8 on the road tonight.
Never been a Tennessee-born player to have more home runs than Todd Helton.
See what he's done against lefties. His home runs have come against righties this season with 3 on the year. Average hovering around that 270 mark, and there's a strike on the outside corner. So far so good with Mike Parisi. Helton with a base hit RBI to score Matt Holiday back in the first. His 11th of the season. Here's the changeup taken for a ball upstairs.
That is a pitch he's been working on just a few years ago, and I'm not too sure this is the time to be throwing by far his worst pitch.
If you go by our gun, it's only a difference of 5 to 6 miles an hour that he's had with his fastball too.
And that's not enough.
Consistently, he's been 92, 93, and if you trust the gun, his changeup was at 87.
Right. Something that he'll tell you that something he needs and something he's working on, but not in this situation to a hitter like Helton. Fastball away.
And a base hit into center field. Holiday will stop at second base. The go-ahead run is in scoring position now for the Rockies.
And trying to encourage him.
Sweet swing there of Todd Helton.
Kind of hit his spot, but I mean, you're talking about one of the better hitters we've seen the last decade. And Todd Helton, Dave Duncan out to talk to him. Still no activity in the Cardinal bullpen, and they're just trying to, I mean, Molina's caught him in spring training, and they have an idea, and Mike, feels comfortable coming up here with his teammates because he, knew him from spring training, and that's always important.
Runners at first and second.
Runners in scoring position. Garrett Atkins, only a .211 hitter.
They're stirring down there in the Cardinal bullpen, but nobody up on the mound and throwing yet. Atkins with a couple of base hits. Whoa. It's Parisi trying to throw the breaking ball and lost the grip.
Sometimes you overthrow it. Sometimes you kind of lose command of it. Usually gets the attention of a hitter.
1-0 pitch on its way. 1 strike.
Duff, that one 94. I think that's the first we've seen in that.
I think you're right.
Range.
1 strike. Atkins tonight. And a fly out to center, doubled and scored in the 4th, and a single in the 5th.
Of course, I'm a firm believer that the hitter will tell you how good your fastball is.
Don't trust the gun.
Well, you better have a little movement on it.
Slowly hit to Miles, steps and throws. The Rockies strand 2. Coming up, Gloss, Duncan, Molina. We move to the 8th in a 4-4 game. Let's take a look at the game recap. And as always, the game recap is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Todd Helton and the Rockies, the defending National League champions, jumped out to an early lead, as Joel Pinheiro did not give the Cardinals much in the starting role tonight. Cardinals, though, were able to peck away thanks to Pinheiro. His RBI double, and the Cardinals' first lead of the night made it 3-2. But then the Rockies would come right back, and they would tie it up. And that's where you stand right now. It's 4-4, and Mike Parisi, his major league debut here against the Rockies, 2 scoreless innings. What a thrill that must be for him, and now see if he can relax a little bit. Taylor Buchholz, who they picked up from Houston, is into the ballgame.
He had a solid season last year, but he's got his first win this year against the Cardinals on opening day. Pitched an inning, allowed 2 hits. He had 1 strikeout, and he's been very good. He's retired 14 of the first 15 batteries he's faced for the best percentage of all Rockies relievers.
Buchholz was 6-5 last year, 41 games for the Rockies. From Pennsylvania, the first pitch to Troy Gloss is popped up, and that'll find the seats. Out of play. Made his major league debut with Houston. Went 6-10 back in 2006. Acquired from Houston along with Willie Taveras and right-hander Jason Hirsch. And Houston would pick up Jason Jennings and Miguel Asensio. He was part of their postseason roster, with the exception of the World Series roster. He was replaced by Aaron Cook, but he was part of the Division Series and the Championship Series, but did not pitch.
Aaron Cook's become one of their solid
Sure has.
pitchers.
Cardinals will not see him. He picked up the win yesterday for the Dodgers, or rather against the Dodgers.
And they only win when he's pitching. He's 5-0 with a 2.02 ERA in his last 5 starts. And the Rockies are 4-11 as a team. And he's 4-0 during that time. They're 0-11 in the other games pitched by other starters.
Take it upstairs, 3 balls and a strike. Wouldn't it be great to see Duncan be able to come through with either a home run or somehow to get Gloss home if he could reach? It's been a tough night for him in the field.
Randy Flores is throwing. His pitcher spot is due up 4th. But might be interesting to see if they take a lead before that 4th spot, and if they let Parisi continue.
The 3-1 pitch with room into left center field. That is ball 4.
There's your start.
Lodo. Lower downtown Denver, and I'll tell you what, they have done just a wonderful job in surrounding the ballpark and redoing this area of downtown Denver, and that was Union Station.
Brendan Ryan is now going to pinch run for Troy Glass. Todd Helton tried to listen to what Dave McKay's saying, and Dave kind of friendly pushed him away. That big walk, you get in late into a ball game and you walk the leadoff man, you're only asking for trouble.
Boy, wouldn't you love to see Duncan do something positive here? They set up outside. First pitch to Duncan. Slicing down the left field line. There is a play, and it's made in foul territory by Holiday, and back to first goes Brendan Ryan. So Duncan 0 for 4, and it brings in Yadier Molina. Molina with a couple of base hits. If the Cardinals could take a lead, when Isringhausen has had issues this year, it's been on those back-to-back games. Only 12 pitches last night, but he says he's healthy. And in watching him throw, I think you would say that the cutter has not been what it has been, and he was throwing fastballs last night.
Right. I mean, it's a pitch that he has such faith in that is kind of betraying him during this little dry spell.
Pitch out and undoing. Our super slow-mo cam. What has it picked up? What is he eating?
Popcorn. There's something that missed his mouth. And Dan, I can only help you so much, but I'm really not concerned about what he's eating.
I'm just looking at the replay. I noticed it.
I'll leave that to you.
He's got a very bright yellow shirt, which stands out, especially on super slow-mo, and then you take a look at him and he's got popcorn or gum on his upper lip. And those are the things that super slow-mo cam can pick up, Al.
Oh, yeah.
Here comes a 1-0 Yadier Molina. Ryan is running, and a hit and run to perfection. Ryan around second base, on his way to third. A 3-hit night for Molina. And it's first and third with 1 out.
And how about that? Brendan Ryan running on the pitch. The shortstop went to cover, vacated the area, and Yadi just bounced it through on the left side. Not hit well enough to get to Holiday out and left quick enough. So Brendan Ryan can not only go from first to second, but he comes and goes all the way over to third base with just the 1 out.
Al, it is such a guessing game, too, and cat and mouse between the managers. We saw Clint hurdle the pitch out. Cardinals weren't doing anything there. Then Tony La Russa puts on the hit and run, and that pays off.
Now Ludwig is 1 for 3 off of this pitcher. Will pinch hit for Parisi and give Mike a chance to pick up a win in his major league debut. Flores warming up in earnest now.
1 out. Runners at the corners for Ludwig. First pitch is swing and a miss.
And you go up there and you're supposed to be very aggressive, but you got to also make sure that if it's a breaking ball that's down the way out of the strike zone, you're not swinging at it.
Inning started with a walk to Troy Gloss. Ryan would pinch run. The fly ball out by Duncan. Molina the hit and run base hit. And here comes an 0-1 to Ludwig. Strike 2. Miles on deck. Big at bat right here. 4-4 game as we play here in the top of the 8th. Miles is 0 for 6 against Buchholz.
He's due.
The 0-2. almost threw it to the backstop. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Trying to get him to chase. Slider down and away. Pitch on up in on his hands, and then 0-2, the fastball up and away.
Buchholz, 6'4", 220-pounder. Ludwig delivers with a base hit into right center field on a 1-2 pitch, and the Cardinals have regained the lead. Ludwig into second base with a double.
How about that hustling? You left the batter's box thinking two. Yachty gets over to third base, and a hustling double by Ludwig. You knew he kind of had a feeling that he's going to come back with a breaking ball, and this time it was a strike, and Ludwig put a good swing on it. Slider, and I've always, instead of it down and away, this one's in the middle of the plate. There you see Sednick going to his left and was able to turn. There's a breaking ball, and just kind of stays sitting on the middle half, and Ludwig with good swing, inside out stroke, and the Cardinals take the lead.
Miles, a chance to add to it. Infield is in. Pitch out. And ball 1.
Now, it's so hard to defense a squeeze play, but I wouldn't think they would be doing it with Molina running and a left-handed batter. But Clint Hurdle thought they might, and he pitch out, put his pitcher in the hole.
Yeah, left-handed batter, you can see that runner coming down the line. Miles, grounder hit to second, play at the plate, and out! And Molina can't believe it. He looked to be safe, and here comes La Rosa. He looked to be safe. Looked like he slid away and under the tag.
That's the way it looked. Molina doesn't argue that much, and it's not a force play. You have to tag, and the throw's up, and Molina,
he's safe.
He's safe all the way. Not even close. It looked to the naked eye. Yeah.
Up here it wasn't even close.
Right. Watch his leg. The left leg is on the plate, and he still missed the tag. So Bob Davidson, there you see, look at the tag.
Never
missed
tagged
it.
him.
Or if he did, he definitely tagged him after he touched home plate.
So that could be costly. 5-4 Cardinals. Very easily could have been 6-4 and only 1 out with a runner at first and third. Instead, 2 outs. And here is Skip Schumacher. Schumacher has been very good in this spot. And the first pitch is taken for a ball. Bob Davidson once took a home run away from Mark McGuire, you might remember.
Milwaukee, Old County Stadium, and in the home run chase year, right?
That's right. As you mentioned,
he's 71.
He lives in, give him 71. Still 2 back of Barnes. But lives about 15 minutes away from the ballpark.
No. Why would you bring that up this time?
Just always giving background information on
I brought it up after a non-controversial situation. Now you're piling on here.
The 2-0 pitch. Schumacher, a ground ball to Todd Helton. Cardinals will strand 2. They have stranded 8 on the night. But the Cardinals pick up a run as Ludwig picks up the RBI. 5-4. Cardinals baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser, who thanks you for being a designated driver. By Chevrolet, see for yourself, shop and compare at stlchevy.com. And by Sonic, it's not just good, it's Sonic good. Beautiful night here in Denver. Many thanks for being with us here on FSN Midwest as the Cardinals have regained the lead. Ryan Ludwig with an RBI. And it's the go-ahead RBI, and the Cardinals have the lead of 5-4 here in the bottom half of the 8th.
Andy Flores will start here. in the 8th inning.
Randy Flores spent some time in the Rockies organization.
Turris is now playing shortstop, and Brendan Ryan stays in, play third base.
So Brad Hoff will be the first hitter.
So you have to assume that Flores is now in the 9th spot, and as Turris is in Troy Glass's 5th spot.
Ludwig is in right, and Schumacher, I believe, in left. 6 strikeouts for Brad Hoff against Randy Flores. How about Mike Parisi? 2 scoreless innings in his major league debut.
I like it. I like it a lot better if the score stays. At least the Rockies have 4 runs. We can get Cardinals can add to it.
Some American League scores: Boston over Detroit 6-3. It was Toronto over the White Sox 1-0. By the way, Detroit cut ties with Jock Jones. Released him. First out, and another look at that call at the plate involving Yadier Molina as a runner.
It's come down. They have the infield in. Second baseman throws the ball, but it's a tag play. It's up the first base line. You can see right there that it's not even close. But the only one that counts is Bob Davidson, and he blew the call.
And I agree with you. I'm not sure, even at the end of that slide, if he even got the tag applied. Maybe he did, but if that's the case, he was.
The leg was long gone.
A foot past the plate.
And we will never say that Molina is slow of foot.
He made it close.
Oh, he made it close.
He was safe.
He made it so close, they got it wrong.
Out of the Molina brothers, who wins in a 40-yard dash? You're going with Yachty, aren't you?
I'm going to go with Yachty, but I think what, you know, are we going to do this in daylight? Can't do it at dusk because the race wouldn't be over.
Now Al.
See how slow Benji is?
He's really slow.
Really?
That's why I've got good money on Yachty. The 1-2 pitch misses. 2-2. Lefty getting loose in the pen for Colorado. Cardinals will have Kennedy, Pujols, and Antio coming up. And if you're wondering, Pujols, if you're just joining us, has reached base again tonight. So 33 straight for Albert to begin the season.
Lefty is Josh Newman.
They've got 2 lefties in their pen. Their closer, Fuentes, and Newman. 2-2 the count. Hossain into the hitter. Let's see what Yachty calls on this 3-2 pitch. The breaking ball sets up outside. The 3-2 pitch. He gets it there and a base hit. Tying run is aboard. A little piece of hitting there by Chris Iannetta just to go with the pitch. And they will pinch run for him.
Tavares, and watch out with his 13 steals. So breaking ball, just kind of a little lazy, you know, wasn't the tight breaking ball, and end up bell tie, and good piece of hitting going that way with it. Tavares has what, 13 for 14 in steal attempts.
This is one of the top threats in baseball. And of course, you've got Yadier Molina as a ball gets away out of one of the bullpens. I guess the Colorado bullpen out there.
Bringing in a catcher.
And so let's see if they want to test Molina. Last year he threw out 47%, or rather 50%, his career record. is 47.
Only 25% this year, but most of the time he has not had a chance because pitchers have just let base runners take advantage of it.
Two and 0. Jonathan Herrera is the hitter. Herrera struck out against Ron Malone. Parisi got him to ground out. And then the starter tonight, Joel Pinheiro, got him to ground out to second.
Spilborghs is on deck. Pinch hitter. I believe that was Torrealba that was running down from the bullpen.
Cardinals would love the double play here. Cardinals have committed 2 errors tonight. Cesar Izturis committed an error last night, and that snapped an 8-game errorless skid by the Cardinals. They have been pretty good defensively this year.
Over the league leaders.
A traditional running count here, but not anymore. Too predictable on 2 and 1. Let's see what Taveras wants to do. He's leaning, not going, and the pitch is a base hit out to right. The throw nearly got away. So back-to-back singles.
Roderick making sure that he got to that ball and keep Taveras at second base, and then almost threw it away. Right there, Randy Flores is maybe a little bit too concerned with Taveras at first base. He didn't work on his primary function and getting the hitter out.
Here's Spilborghs. 22 games, a home run, and a .292 average. And here comes Dave Duncan. Spilborghs, by the way, is hitting .438 with runners in scoring position. That is 5th best in the National League. And he's a lifetime .295 pinch hitter.
He had 51 RBIs last season. And those were tied for the second highest total among players with less than 270 at-bats. He's 3 for 12 against left-handers, batting over .300 against right-handers. It does not appear that anyone is warming up for the Cardinals. I said Flores, I thought they'd put him in the 9th spot. But apparently they've got him batting in the Troy Glossy 5th spot. There's Springer standing there. There's your ball game here in the 8th inning.
1 out, runners at first and second. That runner at second base is quick, and that's Taveras.
And because of Taveras' speed at second base, you've got Kennedy almost playing at the second base bag. So he's designed to keep him very close.
One ball, 1 strike. Ryan Spilborghs. Much better crowds this season after the way that the Rockies finished up last season. A 28-year-old out of Santa Barbara, California. .299 hitter a season ago with the Rockies, came up back in '05.
Lifetime .295 pinch hitter. 3 for 11 this season.
The 1-1 pitch from Randy Flores. Runners go. Throw by Molina. Safe.
Double steal.
Good jump there by Taveras.
See, tried to get him there, but he got a great jump off of Flores. And Uriarte got the right-handed batter, catches a breaking ball with a great effort by Molina, but just too big a jump off the second base, and then the runner at first, Herrera, He goes to second base, so now a base hit, scores 2.
Cardinals have the corners in. The middle infielders will charge. Here they come. Check swing, and he went. 2-2. Flores needs a strikeout here. And will that missed call at home plate come back to haunt the Cardinals tonight? Sac flies this year. That's all. Atkins with 2. A pitcher with 1. Ionetta the other. Molina out to visit. The all-important 2-2 pitch coming up.
They have 3 sacrifice flies in their last 4 games after hitting just 1 sac fly in their first 27.
That's amazing.
They have been a team that has missed many scoring opportunities with that, not giving up for those timely hits or sacrifice flies.
The 2-2. Gotta have confidence in your catcher to throw that pitch. And Flores buried it into the dirt.
When you, as a catcher, you ask that pitcher to bounce the ball, well, that tells him that I know there's a guy at third base, but he's not going to score. I wonder if that was when he was talking to Brendan Ryan there. And Molina showing his fingers to his eyes, telling like maybe a pickoff over third.
Little check swing out in front of the plate. Diving Flores can't come up with it, and we are tied.
Excuse me, swing. Almost a perfect, shows you how tough it is to defense, even when you do a suicide squeeze. Taveras had great speed there, anticipating it going on contact, and a little dribbler right in front of here. Now Randy's going to come in. You're told to have a stiff wrist and shovel pass, but he just never had control of it. It's so difficult to run in and have a stiff wrist and flick that ball to a catcher. And that's what I mean. You see how difficult it is. It was not a suicide squeeze, but if you get the bunt down, and that was a swinging bunt, it's still tough to stop it.
First run that Flores has allowed all season. His 13th appearance.
His primary function is to release the ball, but you see he's unorthodox in his delivery, so he doesn't have the best fielding positioning. But I don't care about that. Your job is to deliver the ball the best way you can to home plate. If you end up in good fielding position, it's a plus. I also remember a guy named Bob Gibson with about 9 Gold Gloves that ended up worse than Flores.
Yorvit Torrealba will be the pinch hitter, a postseason hero from a year ago for the Rockies. Pinch hitting at the top of this lineup. We'll check on the runner at first. The go-ahead run is standing over third with just 1 out. That's Herrera. First pitch to Torrealba, taken for a ball. .238 hitter, couple of home runs, 9 RBIs for Torrealba. This is his first pinch hitting appearance of the season. Strike on the outside corner. Torrealba started all 11 postseason contests at catcher for the Rockies last year. 8 postseason RBIs. He came through. What do you think about the squeeze here with Torrealba?
Well, he's their everyday catcher, so he's accustomed to swinging away, but He's a big guy at the plate, and he got good speed at third.
2-1. Brand new game. It is now 5-5 here in the bottom of the 8th. It's been back and forth all night. The 2-1 pitch.
Breaking ball right underneath the hands.
All kinds of room out there in left center field. That ball in the gap. With Schumacher and Keel and Ludwig in the outfield.
Better speed out there and left to close that gap if the ball hangs up. And with one out, that would give a very important go-ahead run.
And a swing and a miss held on to by Molina. They're looking for help, saying, did it hit the ground?
I thought,
and here comes Tony La Russa.
Out. They're going to get it right. The first, okay. Alfonso Marquez is saying, I can't tell what he's saying, to hit the glove or the dirt, but Clint Hurdle's going to argue, and I think the replay may show that the Cardinals catch a break on this one. Let's take a look at it. Breaking ball. Oh, that definitely bounced. And Molina does an Academy Award performance there, saying that, you know, he caught it before it bounced, but that's terrible. You can't see that.
It was a foul tip.
And he's still alive.
Yeah,
he called him out.
And then it hit the ground, and that was an obvious call. The only thing I can think of, they didn't think it was
a miss.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of, that they didn't realize it was a foul tip, and maybe we're wrong and it wasn't. Sure seemed that way, didn't it? From Molina's reaction,
right,
to even the hitter. 2 outs, first and third.
It looked like Molina was trying to sell the fact that, you know, that he had caught the ball. Now, that's a swing and miss, isn't it?
Well, that replay, yes, but I thought I heard it. I thought I heard a foul tip. Well, either way, the Cardinals will take it. Maybe they were owed one, too.
True. When you're trying to start making up, you run into trouble.
Here comes a 1-0. Instead, a check on the runner at first base. At Spilborgh's, his little check swing has tied the game up at 5. The shortstop is 1 for 4. 3 fly ball outs. Left, center, and right.
Even bigger gap out in left center now.
Again, the Cardinals will have Kennedy, Pujols, and Keel coming up.
With a big gap out there. Got a guy that you don't think has very much power.
A count of 1-1. Tap foul.
2 outs. Randy trying to get him to hit the ball in the air. Now with 2 strikes, you can try and strike him out.
Flores trying to get out of this inning without having to face Holiday, Help, or Atkins. But the big numbers coming up for the Cardinals as well. The check.
Now getting restless for those tosses to first base.
Runners at first and third. 1-2 the count.
A rare smile from Tony La Russa.
All the boos here at Coors Field with all the throwovers. Wants it outside, gets it there, and a throw down to second. Nope. Well, the Cardinals had a similar play like that on offense with Pujols, and Tony La Russa was asked after the game if that was a designed play. It was a couple of games ago. He said no.
No, that Albert had misread something, missed a sign. So it's kind of like a delayed steal, where the option is getting that rundown, what you're talking about, but Molina held on to it, and the runner at third didn't break.
I don't know about you. I'm not a big fan of that play. I mean, these are major leaguers. They're supposed to be able to, if you get in that rundown, get the out.
It's designed to stay in the rundown long enough to the runner at third to score.
Right, and what I'm saying is they make that play 9 times out of 10. Flores gets the strikeout, sends us to the ninth. Kennedy, Pujols, and Keel due up. It's 5-5.
Tied at 5. We go to the ninth in Denver. A reminder coming up after the game on the post-game edition of U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live. We'll get Tony La Russa's post-game comments, plus I'll go all access inside the Cardinals clubhouse for player reaction, plus Joe Strauss of the Post-Dispatch will join Pat Paris for all the analysis. That's coming up after the game. For now, we send it back to Dan and Al. Guys?
Jim, are you getting the scoop down there? You're right next to that Cardinal dugout.
I sense a victory, Dan. Being this close, I can feel it.
That's our very own Jim Hayes on the scene.
I think we ought to ask him, how does it feel? The difference between a victory and a loss.
Well, here is Brian Fuentes back in the closer's role for Colorado. 5-5 game. Rockies about hit the Cardinals 13-10.
He has been very tough on left-handed batters. Only 1 for 11 this year.
I asked him about this motion that you're going to see right now. Throws sidearm, and he said it's like skipping a rock or throwing a frisbee. And he did this because he was a starter in the minor leagues and was going nowhere. And the coaching staff went to him and said, if you want to stay playing professional baseball, you're going to have to mix something up. Why don't you try doing this? And it has paid off big time. He's been a 3-time All-Star for the Rockies.
Well, and he's the only pitcher in Rockies history to go to the All-Star game more than once. But he gets it up there pretty good.
Kennedy reaches for it. He'll ground to second. And it brings in Pujols. So how delicate will Fuentes be now with Albert Pujols? Pujols 1 for 5 against the lefty. And Fuentes is a big guy too, Al. He's 6'4", 230 pounds. Slings the ball to the plate.
Yeah, a lot of times when you see somebody that throws like that, it's because they don't throw very hard.
Right.
And that's what kind of separates him. Righties are only batting 189.
First pitch, 77 miles an hour, with a breaking ball in there for strike 1. Pujols with an intentional walk back in the 7th, so 33 straight games he has reached base. The 0-1. A check swing, and he went. Strike 2. Pujols struck out his first time up. An All-Star every year since 2005, Brian Fuentes. He and Roy Oswalt, the only other pitchers to make the All-Star team each of the last 3 seasons in the National League. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The next to Pujols. Extra bases upcoming. Pujols is going to dig for 2. Into the corner it goes. on his way to second, and he'll stop right there. So the go-ahead run at second base in the form of Albert Pujols.
He's a hitter, isn't he?
Woof. On base for the second time tonight. A chance here for Rick Ankiel. Boy, it's a good piece of hitting.
Hit 14 of his last 15 games, and just reaching out, stroking the ball in the corner.
And Al, he's able to do that because he always, for the most part, keeps his hands back to make the adjustment.
Yeah, that's, you know, he hits more balls in between the white lines, or a lot of times guys might make contact on that, but they're going to hit it foul.
Runners in scoring position. Ankiel, a .314 hitter, facing this tough left-hander here. Up and in. Ankiel with a single up the middle in the fourth, and he walked in the fifth to go along with a pair of strikeouts. Also made a couple of nice plays out in center field. The 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. At the plate, boy, you feel cheated when you do that.
Right. Couple breaking balls. First one was way up and in, and shortstop kind of shadowing Albert there.
Tavares stole third base to get at third base with just 1 out. That was for Colorado. That's strike 2 on Rick Ankiel.
So after a couple slow breaking balls that couldn't pull the trigger on that fastball. Rick usually doesn't get cheated against lefties.
5-5 game. We're in the 9th, 1 out. Pujols diving back in safely at second base. They really have kept a close eye on him out there. The time is called. Pujols slow to get up. Hoping to injure his back. He's been holding his lower back and stretching out there.
Yep.
Even bigger lead this time for Pujols.
Well, he got back easily, so you can get more lead.
There he goes, running, and the pitch is grounded towards second. Pujols around third. He's coming home. Down to the plate. He is safe, and Pujols, a remarkable play. He scores the go-ahead run, trying to steal third, and then winds up at the plate, and the Cardinals have the lead 6-5. Remarkable play from Albert.
You know, Albert, he's obsessed with scoring, and he's running on that play, and the little second baseman, you know, took a lot of time. Takes off on this pitch. A little tapper right here. A little time here. Never looked at third. Never thought anything. Helton's got a pretty good arm, the former Tennessee quarterback. But here's you get a better look at it. There's no way you're going to stop him. He thought about it, and then when they put this to first base, they come. Helton throws a little bit wide, and boy, was he out there. He's out there. As they tag him on the arm before that foot got to home plate. But this time we're glad he got this call wrong.
He may have slipped the foot in there, but I
don't think so.
I saw what you were seeing too. It looked like the tag may have been on the arm, but I thought initially when he grounded to second that Pujols was going to try to score, because it's the kind of play that he makes. He's a smart base runner at times, things that you just don't expect.
I lost a game in Toronto with a runner at second base and Izzy warming up in the bullpen trying to protect this. Ground ball to third base. Clint Hurdle was playing first. He was so happy he caught the ball at first base, but forgot that Bob Baylor was trying to score like that. Lost the game on a ground out to third.
Albert at the plate. Did he get the foot in there? Let's see.
Well, watch here. The throw's up the line. So,
boy, it's close.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch the tag and look at there. Well, like I said, good thing you only got 2 choices.
Albert Pujols, just another example of why he is considered one of the great players in the major leagues in all facets. Not the fastest base runner, but he makes things happen. Here it is again as we go to break. Scoring on a slow roller to second. And Pujols just gets in there. So says Bob Davidson. My goodness, what a play from Albert Pujols to score the go-ahead run. Will it be the winning run as the Cardinals have a lead now of 6-5? Pujols continues to stretch over there at first, and here's the Rockies now with the heart of their lineup coming up. Matt Holliday, Todd Helton, and Garrett Atkins. Helton, the best of the bunch, with 5 plate appearances, a home run, 3 hits, and Garrett Atkins 1 for 1 against Izzy. So here we are, Al, back-to-back nights with Isringhausen. The haircut in place. He said it's a brand new season after that game on Friday night, where he's not had success as the back-to-back games, but only 12 pitches last night and a different-looking pitcher because he threw fastballs.
Well, he has had back-to-back success. You don't get 10 saves without doing that. It's just he had that little dry spell where he lost a ball game, had the 3 blown saves, but that's all in history. You have a very short memory as a closer. And you just remember last night, you saved the ball game. Remember how good that feels, and you're in position to do it again tonight.
12 pitches last night for Isringhausen. And the first pitch at 92 miles an hour.
Fastball.
Wednesday against Cincinnati, 1 inning, no hits. And then Friday against the Cubs, the blown save and the Soriano home run. Last night against Chicago, a 1-2-3 9th inning. The 1-0 pitch.
I just don't let him pitch on Friday night.
Friday blew the save against Houston that Friday night. But you could see Molina right there calling for the pitch down in the zone. And that's something that with the cutter, or whatever the case was going on as far as a negative sense for, Isringhausen, a lot of pitches were up in the zone.
Right. And here's the cutter, so you can't totally discount it, but you see where the glove is. Finish it. And see, it's 88, but there's not a lot of movement to it. But he got ahead with the fastball, and he shows the cutter. But it's going to come back to the cutter again. Target down, finish it off.
The 2-1 pitch. Hit hard and a diving stop. Oh, what a play! Yes! What a play at short by Cesar Torres.
Outstanding play on a rifle shot up the middle on a bad location on the cutter. But his defense was good enough. As Torres makes a great play. What a difference. Look at that ball was smashed. He's going back. He's kind of diving towards the outfield instead of diving, squaring up to it. That ball was hit so hard, comes up on him also.
Boy, what a play.
What a difference having, that ball was hit so hard, that might possibly have been an extra base hit.
And when he got it, Al, he was diving. He almost caught it behind him.
That's what I'm saying. He's diving towards the outfield, not towards the base, because the ball was hit so hard.
The 0-1 pitch to Todd Helton. Isringhausen closing in on 300 saves. He's at 291 after his 10th last night. The 1-1 pitch from Izzy. There's the knuckle curve.
Yeah. He likes to throw that a lot to the left-handed batters, the cutter to the righties. Curveball again. Look at where the glove is, on the ground.
The 1-2 pitch with check swing. 2-2.
Show that graphic that Helton's had success against Izzy. As a closer or really as a pitcher, you try and create those one-on-one challenges. And here, one of the best hitters in the game against one of the best closers. It's all the drama is all built in. Fastball away.
2-2. Big pitch here on 3-2. Todd Helton, Jason Isringhausen in a 6-5 Cardinal lead. This game has had a little bit of everything tonight.
Oh yeah, it's been very entertaining.
The 3-2. Just missed. Budweiser, great player of the game. With one out, and now the tying run at first base. Budweiser, the great American logger, Albert Pujols with a double, and then this amazing play off the bat of Ricky and Keel as Pujols would score from second.
He's running on the pitch, and that's what helped out. Then he gets around the bag. When they went to first base is when he made his decision to come home. Pinch runner for Helton.
Atkins, ground ball to third. Ryan on to second for one. First base, the pick by the Budweiser. Great player of the game, Albert Pujols. Right on cue, and the Cardinals win it. 6-5, our final. Started with Izturis, his play up the middle. And Pujols ends it with a pick over at first. Another save for Izzy, number 11, 292 in his career. Albert Pujols, the pick over at first. Izzy, the save. The Cardinals, the win. Much more coming up. It's the post-game show. Stay with us.
Well, the game is over with a Cardinals victory. Joe and I are getting set, though, to bring you U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live. Joe, your thoughts on a wild one?
Pat, that was a playoff quality game. The 8th and 9th innings about as good as it gets during the season. A lot of heroes in the last 2 innings. Albert Pujols, only one of them.
All right, we're going to delve more into that coming up on U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live. Plus, with all the bullpen problems in the NL Central, we answer the question, what closer would you most like to have at the end of a ball game? And speaking of ensuring pitching, we'll let you know how Mark Mulder did tonight in Memphis. And we'll take you all access inside the Cardinals clubhouse back in Colorado. Bring you Tony La Russa's post-game comments, plus the Cardinals milestone that Ron Valone may not want to look at. Don't go anywhere. U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live coming up next.